A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the homicide detail. A man has been shot down on a street corner of your city. There's no apparent motive, no lead to the assailant. Your job, find him.
It was Tuesday, May 8th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide details. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. I was on my way over from the office, and it was 10:13 p.m. when I got to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. The waiting room. Hi, Frank.
Joe?
How's he doing?
I don't know. I'll talk to Dr. Sebastian.
How's it look?
Well, not too good. Slugs embedded in his lung caused a hemorrhage. He's getting a transfusion.
What do you got on it?
I just talked to the guys who came in with him for a minute. They didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
Call came in from a man who owns a newsstand at the corner of Normandy and Willowbrook.
See the witness?
Yeah.
Anything there?
I don't know. We'll have to talk to him.
What do you got on the victim?
Wait a minute. I got it here. Name's Matthew Denton. Address given is 18970 Taft Street in Hollywood.
Did you get in touch with anybody?
No, tried the house, but nobody was there.
Anything else?
Yeah, went over the personal property. Usual stuff. Cigarettes, lighter, comb.
Mm-hmm.
Found a diamond ring on the small finger left hand. Looks expensive. Gold wristwatch. $140 in cash. $1,300 in American Express checks.
Doesn't spell robbery, does it?
No. None of the stuff was disturbed.
Well, maybe you can tell us something, huh?
Yeah. Joe, Frank.
Hi, Doc. How are you? How's it look?
What time you got?
10:16.
Make it 10:13.
Hmm?
Close enough for the report.
What?
Time of death.
Matthew Trevor Denton, WMA, 31 years, 5'9", 164 pounds, had stopped living at 10:13 p.m. on May 8th. We didn't know who he was or why he died. Before we left the hospital, we put in a call to Denton's address, but we got no answer. We checked the name and description through R&I. There was no record on the dead man. At 10:48 p.m., we left Georgia Street and drove over to the scene of the shooting, where we talked to the witness, Andrew Cape.
Right over there is where it happened. The bus stop.
Uh-huh.
I was standing right here. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the whole thing happen.
Yes, sir. About what time was that, Mr. Cates?
Oh, I guess it was 9:30 or so.
I see.
I was just standing here, and bang, bang, 2 shots.
Did you see what led up to the shooting?
Well, what do you mean, let up?
Well, I mean, did you see what happened before?
Oh, yeah, whole thing.
Uh-huh. Would you tell us about it?
Sure.
All right. Go ahead.
Well, one of those nights where just nothing went right, you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
I started off with my wife burning the coffee. I wouldn't think a person could do that, would you? Burn the coffee?
Shall I go ahead?
I had a big argument before I left home. I just started off that way.
Yes, sir.
Got on here and took over.
About what time did you open the stand, sir?
Oh, I was 7:30 in the morning. Try to get breakfast business, you know. People on the way to eat. Stop off for early paper.
I see.
I try to get them.
All right.
I open her up in the morning, and then there's a school kid takes over for me about 3 in the afternoon. He's here around 6:30 when I come back from supper.
I see.
That's when she burned the coffee. Night supper.
All right. You want to tell us about the shooting?
Oh, sure. Kind of hard, you know. This is the first time for me.
How's that?
Well, it's the first time I've ever been a witness. First.
I see. What time did you first see the victim?
Man who was shot?
Yes, sir.
Well, I told you. It's about 9:30. The car pulled up to the curb, and this fellow got out. He kind of stood there for a minute, and he talked to the other fellow in the car. He just stood there a minute and talked, kind of leaning in the window.
Mm-hmm.
Car pulled away, and the one who got out,
Yeah.
he walked over and sat down on the bench like he was waiting for the bus.
Mr. Cates, you got a good look at the car he got out of?
Well, I saw it, if that's what you mean.
Would you describe it for us?
It was a black Chevy. I'd say maybe a 52 or 53.
Sedan or coupe?
No, it was a sedan, 4-door. Nothing special about it.
Did you get a look at the man that was driving?
No, the light's kind of bad over there. You can see for yourself. The one fellow leaning in the car, I couldn't get a good look. I didn't pay a lot of attention to it anyway. It didn't seem anything to get all concerned about.
All right, sir. You want to go ahead?
Well, the fellow sat there for a minute, not doing nothing, just waiting. And this other car pulled up, right up the curb.
Mm-hmm.
One guy got out of the car, got right out, and walked over to the fellow sitting on the bench.
I see.
Oh, excuse me a minute, the customer.
All right, sir.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Old Bert always stops by same time. He gets one of each, same time every night. Good old Bert.
Yes, sir. I wonder if you go ahead with your story.
Oh, yeah. Well, this car pulled up, and the fellow got out. He walked over to the bench, started talking to the first man. They got in an argument.
How do you know that?
What?
Well, how do you know they were arguing?
Well, I could see you standing over there, waving their arms around. I could even hear some of the yelling. It wasn't no trick at all to see that they were having some kind of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Could you hear what the trouble was about?
No, just a lot of yelling and waving. Could hear no outright words.
You want to go ahead, please?
Well, the next thing I knew was when the fellow got out of the car, started swinging at the other one.
That was the victim?
Yeah, one of them was shot.
All right.
Well, you just bet the guy tackled more than he could handle. The victim fellow started to clean up on this other one. He just started to mop the street with it.
I see.
That's when the guy who was waiting in the car got out and went over to help his friend, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Three of them kind of struggled around for a while, then the one from the car pulled the gun. Bang, bang. 2 shots. First guy dropped right down on the sidewalk. The other 2 got in the car and took off. Went roaring down Normandy. That way.
Can you describe the second car?
Well, not too good. I just got a glance at it. I wasn't paying a lot of attention at first. The time I figured I should take a good look at it was gone.
I see. Now, how about the men driving it?
What do you want to know?
Can you describe them?
Not good.
Well, if you tell us just what you can, Mr. Cates, it'll help.
Sure. First one was a tall, lanky fellow. He didn't weigh much, sort of string bean.
Mm-hmm. How tall would you say?
Oh, I don't know, close to 6'3", maybe 6'2", round in there. He's a tall one.
About how old?
20 feet, 25. I couldn't tell that too good.
I see. What about his coloring? Was he light or dark, do you remember?
Light. He was blonde.
How about his clothes?
He had on a pair of jeans. One of them jackets, made out of the same kind of material, rivets like on them.
Mm-hmm.
Were real tight jeans. Both of them were wearing them.
Anything else you can tell us about the tall man?
No.
Was he the driver of the car?
Oh, yeah. He was the one who did the shooting, the tall fellow.
Could you see the gun?
Yeah, but not good.
Do you remember whether it was a revolver or an automatic?
Well, it looked like a revolver to me.
All right, now what about the other man?
He was shorter than the first one. No runt, but, shorter. Guess anybody would look small next to him.
About how tall was he?
Always about 5'9", 5'10". Give a couple, take a couple.
All right. How was he built?
Sort of light, maybe 140.
Anything else about the 2 men? Did either of them wear glasses, do you remember?
No, not so as I could see. He might have taken them off, before they got out of the car. Might have, but I didn't see him when the fight started.
Did either of them use a name that you could hear?
I told you before I couldn't hear anything they said. There's just a lot of yelling when the fight started.
All right.
There wasn't anything special about the 2 fellas to make them stand out. One tall, the other short. No big reason to remember them.
Afraid you got it wrong, mister.
Huh?
We got a reason. We made arrangements for Andrew Cates to come down to the office and look through the mug books. The rest of the neighborhood was checked again, but we were unable to find anyone else who'd witnessed the shooting. While we'd been talking to Cates, a team of detectives from Homicide Detail had gone out to the victim's house. They didn't find anyone at home, but when they spoke to the neighbors, they were told that Matthew Denton's wife was in a hospital. Frank and I checked with her doctor and found out that she was in the maternity ward. He recommended that we delay talking to the woman as long as possible since she was in a weakened condition. From the hospital records, we found that Denton was employed by an advertising agency. We checked with the nurses on duty and found that he'd left the hospital with another man. They gave us a description of him, but they were unable to identify him for us. We asked that they call the office in the event the man returned to the hospital. Frank and I went back to the office and checked out. The next morning, Wednesday, at 8:40 a.m., we were back in the squad room. Yes, sir. You looking for somebody?
Well, I see somebody about this story in the paper.
Which one is that, sir?
About the shooting last night, corner Normandy and Willowbrook.
All right. What did you want to talk about?
Are you the officers handling the case?
Yes, sir.
My name's Sterling Hall. I think maybe I can help you out.
All right. Want to have a seat, Mr. Hall?
Sure
here,
thing.
Right here.
Thanks.
Fine. Sit right here.
Thank you.
It's my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do, Mr. Smith?
All right. What do you got?
Well, it says here in the paper where Denton left the hospital with the man. It says you're looking for him.
That's right.
Well, you don't have to look no further. I'm him.
You were with Denton last night, were you?
Just said that.
All right. How long were you together?
Till about 9:30. They dropped him off at the bus stand right where he was shot.
All right, I wonder if you could start at the beginning and tell us the whole story, will you?
Sure thing. Well, you see, I got a lady friend, same hospital as Denton's wife. I was over there last night to say hello. I brought her a box of caramels and said hello.
Uh-huh.
Well, I was on my way out the place, and I stopped off for a cup of coffee in that little old shop they got there. You know, where they has the gifts, books on what to name the baby and all.
Yeah, I know it is.
Well, I was having a cup of coffee, and this here Denton come in. He wanted to buy a little plant for his wife. They just had a baby. Wanted to send her something.
I see.
Now, we got to talking and had a cup of coffee. It turned out he didn't have his car, so I asked him if I could give him a ride home. He was kind of nervous and all. New father.
Yes, sir.
We left the hospital, and he said it wasn't necessary for me to take him all the way home. Said for me to just drop him off at the bus stand. Told me there was one right near his house.
All right.
Well, on the way, we was following his car, and all of a sudden it stops. No signal, nothing. Just slams on the brakes, and we rammed into it. Well, didn't hardly do no damage to the other car. Broke one of my headlights is all, but didn't hurt the other car at all.
I see. Go
Now,
ahead.
two fellers got out, and they walked back, and they started a little ruckus. Said we was speeding and driving reckless, all that kind of stuff, real loud. And this Denton, he'd tell them to shove off. Said their car wasn't hurt at all, and said not to make a big thing out of it. He told them it was their fault anyway.
Were you still in the car?
No, we got out to see what damage had occurred.
I see.
These two guys started to get rugged now, like they wanted to start some real trouble, and Denton said if they wanted to make a problem out of it, the thing to do was to call the cops and make a complaint.
What'd they say to that?
Nothing, just said to forget it, and then they got in the car and shoved off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't see him again, but I got to thinking about it this morning when I saw the story in the paper. You think it might have been one of them two who shot Denton?
Well, we don't know, sir. Can you give us a description of the men?
Sure thing. Now, one of them was real tall. The other one was about my height.
It'll be about 5'8".
5'8" and 3/4.
All right. Can you give us a description of the car?
Yes, sir. It was a light blue Ford. One of them new ones, you know, with the plastic on top.
Yes, sir.
I took a good look at it. Matter of fact, I kind of thought there might be some trouble about the accident. I didn't want to be out on a limb with my insurance company, so I made sure.
Yeah.
I got the license number.
Well, I got a complete description of the two men. Frank checked DMV on the license number. 5 minutes later, he came back to the office.
Joe?
Yeah, you got it?
If you find out who the car belongs to, shouldn't be anything to pick up them two fellers.
It's not going to be that easy. The car was stolen.
Before Frank and I left the office, we made arrangements for Sterling Hall to check the mug books in the hope that he might be able to identify the suspects. At 11:20 a.m., we drove over to talk to the registered owner of the stolen car. He told us that the vehicle had been taken from a parking lot the day before and that he'd made an immediate report on it to the police. Additional broadcasts were gotten out on the automobile and on the suspects. That afternoon, we drove over and talked to the victim's wife. She told us that the money and the express checks Denton had been carrying were for the payment of the hospital and the doctor bills. We questioned her about her husband's friends and associates. Although we had the story given us by Sterling Hall, it seemed unlikely that the man was killed as the result of an argument over a minor traffic accident. We spent the rest of the day interviewing people who knew the victim. From them, we learned that Denton was well-liked and he was respected. He took an active interest in neighborhood clubs and events. The more we went into his background, the more convinced we became that he'd been killed by the men in the stolen Ford. 2 days passed. On Saturday, May 12th, the vehicle was found abandoned. A stakeout was placed on it, and when no one approached it, the crew from Leighton Prince went over the car. They found several partial fingerprints, but not enough for classification. The prints were photographed and held for evidence. Frank and I continued to work on the killing. A month went by without additional information turning up. On Tuesday, June 19th, we got a call from burglary detail. Yeah. No, nothing. Where'd he come from? Well, it might check out. No, we'll pick him up. Yeah. Okay, right, thanks. Mac over in burglary.
Yeah?
He says he just picked up a guy for receiving.
Uh-huh.
Tried to make a deal. Said if he got a break, he might be able to help us clean up something.
Say what it was?
Yeah, he did. The Denton killing. We left the office. We went over to room 45. We talked with the officers who'd picked up the suspect. They told us that they found a large quantity of stolen automobile supplies in his possession. We took him to the interrogation room for questioning. For almost an hour, he remained silent.
How about it, Keneally? Going to give us a hand? Keneally?
All right, come on, stand up. Let's go.
Giving up, huh?
No, we'll be back.
Where you taking me?
Back to burglary, and they can book you.
Main jail?
Yep.
But you guys are all through with me, huh?
Yeah, for now. We'll talk to you again.
Well, you won't get any more.
Tell me something, will you?
What?
A little while ago, you said you knew something about a killing. Now you shut up and won't give us the time of day. Why?
I told that other cop if I got a break, you get one.
You know we can't make deals.
No, it's going to cost you.
You're going to take an installment.
How do you figure that?
You said you knew something about Matthew Denton's murder, isn't that right?
I don't remember that far back.
We do, and we can prove you did. You're up on a receiving rap now. That's bad enough. But if we can tag you with holding information, we'll make you as an accessory after the fact.
You mean you'll try?
I think we'll make it.
Well, from here, it's got another color.
Well, let's see how it comes out, huh? Come on, let's go. Down this way.
I know. What's a tab for being accessory?
5 years.
Okay, let's go back.
Huh?
I'll tell you all about it.
We returned Harold Keneally to the interrogation room. We put out a call to Gene Bechtel to come and take a statement. Keneally asked that we send out for some coffee for him. Frank went down the hall and brought back 3 cups. After he'd finished his, Keneally leaned back.
It's good coffee. Strong. I like it that way.
Yeah, well, now that you've had the clacks, let's start the story. What do you say?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Who are the 2 men?
I don't know.
Are you going to start this all over again, are you?
I'm giving it to you on the line. I don't know who they are.
What do you know about them?
Not much. A couple of guys are doing pretty good with radios.
You one of their customers?
Yeah, me and a half a dozen others.
You know who they are?
Well, you're not going to get the names.
All right, let's get back to 2 men. Why do you think they had something to do with Denton?
Well, about 3 weeks ago, they was in my place. Had 5 new radios. The kind with the bar to pick the stations, you know, like the new cads.
Yeah, I know.
I had 5 of them. Want to turn them over.
Yeah.
Well, the price they were asking was way out. I told them so they'd have to find someplace else to drop them.
All right.
Told me there was a beef. They had to get out of town, so they needed the money to swing it.
That still doesn't add up to Denton's killers, does it?
Well, it will.
All right, come on, tell us.
Well, I went out of the office for a couple of minutes, told them I had to make a phone call.
Yeah.
I got a mic hidden in the room, found out it helps in business once in a while. I turned it on and listened to the guys talk.
Go ahead.
They were yakking about some guy that got shot. The big fellow was saying there wasn't no other way to handle it. Said that he didn't like it either, but there just wasn't any other way. Big thing then was to get some money and just beat town.
Mm-hmm.
I waited outside for a couple more minutes, but they didn't say anything, so I went back in. I told them I couldn't swing the radio deal.
What'd they do then?
Well, they said they had to dump him someplace. If I couldn't take him, they'd find somebody who would. Told them to go ahead.
And what do these guys look like?
A couple of bums, one tall, the other short, wearing those jeans with the coats made out of the same cloth, you know.
You had dealings with them before?
Yeah, a couple of times.
You know their name?
No. All I know is the big one's called Dusty. I don't know the last part.
How about the other one?
Nothing there.
Anything else about them?
Oh, they're both lushes.
Yeah.
The big one, this Dusty, always got a flask on his hip.
You mean a bottle, huh?
No, a metal flask like they used in Prohibition. This one's all beat up, dented. It's all dirty. But I never seen Dusty without it. Both of them all the time nipping at it.
All right.
You know where these guys live?
No, someplace downtown. They got a pad there. I don't know where it is, though.
How do you know it's downtown, then?
Well, I don't know for sure. It's just a guess.
Did you ever hear either one of them say anything about a job?
Not those 2. They never done a day's work in their lives. The only thing they're good at is lifting radios. They wouldn't work steady if stealing was legal.
Is that all they take, radios?
All I've ever seen. Guess they got a gimmick. Figure they can make a living with them. Why change?
Mm-hmm.
I guess they do pretty good. I don't know. I paid them enough times.
All right, anything else you can tell us?
No.
They work with anybody else, do you know?
Not that I've ever heard.
How about close friends?
None.
They say when they'd be back to your place?
No, they don't have a regular route. When they pick up some things, they come in. If they got nothing to sell, I don't see them.
When'd you see them last?
The time I told you about.
They still around?
Well, I don't know. Rumble says they are. I haven't seen them myself.
You know where we can reach them?
No, you don't make an appointment with them.
You know if these guys have ever been arrested?
Oh, we never talked about it. Where they seem to feel about cops, though, you sure figure they fell.
They from L.A., do you know?
I don't think so. Never heard them say. Only done business with them a couple of times. We never got real buddy-buddy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go that chummy set much.
All right, Keneally. Anything more you want to tell us?
I guess that's it.
All right, come on. Why don't you check the books?
Yeah. Hey, can you spring another cup of that coffee? It's sure good. About the best I ever tasted. Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah?
There's one more thing about the guys you're after.
All right.
Take it easy with them. Like I told you, they're both lushes. I think they're off their rockers.
Yeah, we'll watch it.
Well, you better. They're packing heavy.
Yeah.
Any way you slice it, they're loaded.
Harold Keneally went through the mug books, but he was unable to find a picture of the 2 suspects. The name Dusty was checked to the moniker file without result. Information was forwarded to George Brereton up at CII Sacramento, and a supplemental APB was gotten out. We spent the rest of the day with officers from burglary detail going over reports. We found that they'd been working on a string of car radio thefts for the past several weeks. When we compared notes with them, it seemed more than possible that their two suspects were the same men we wanted for the killing of Matthew Denton. However, they were no closer to the men than we were. From the reports, we were able to figure that the pair was still in Los Angeles. That evening, we met with Captain Lorman, Captain Bernard, and Chief Detective Thad Brown. We worked out a system of rolling stakeouts that would cover most of the territory where the thieves had been working. 3 additional teams of men from burglary were assigned to help us, and on Wednesday, June 20th, the operation was started. For 3 days, there was no action. Thefts from autos continued, but when they were checked out, the method of operation used eliminated any suspects that we were looking for. On Sunday, June 24th, we got a call that a man answering the descriptions of one of the thieves had been seen in the vicinity of Beverly Boulevard and Elmwood Avenue. Frank and I left our position in the stakeout, and we drove out to the area.
Should be a couple of more blocks.
Yeah, we just passed Ridgewood Place. You better take it easy next block when you start cruising.
Yeah. See anything?
No. Want to take a left here?
All right. Doesn't look like it.
Let's go up a couple more blocks.
All right. Sure be a break if we nail him tonight.
Yeah.
A little rough on the study time.
How's it going?
Oh, I don't know, Joe. Times I don't think I'm ever going to make sergeant.
What are you doing now?
You mean studying?
Yeah.
Legal procedure.
Well, you should know that.
Well, practical stuff, yeah. Putting it into legal language, it makes it rough on me.
Yeah, I had the same trouble.
I haven't been able to hit the books for the past week.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, nothing. Keep going. What'd you say?
I said I hadn't hit the books. I missed a couple of lectures, too.
Well, you're never going to make it that way.
That's what Faye says.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Slow down.
What do you got?
Up there. See? Next block on the left. About 50 feet on the other side of the street line.
I don't see anything.
Looked to me like somebody trying to get into a car. I'm not sure.
Well, let's check it.
All right. Just up ahead there.
Yeah. See anything?
Well, looked like somebody on the other side. Better pull up. We'll take a look.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
I'll cover the other side.
Take it easy. If it's the one we want, they're heavy.
All right.
All right, mister, let's hold it right there.
What?
Stand where you are.
You talking to me?
That's right.
What are you causing me trouble for? I didn't do nothing.
We didn't say you did.
How about it, mister? This your car?
Certainly it's my car. Who do you think it belonged to?
You got the white slip?
In the machines, right out in plain sight where it's supposed to be.
You've been drinking, haven't you?
Small wonder you officers don't do better at solving crimes. I had a couple, yeah.
What's your name?
I don't see that's any business of yours. All I'm trying to do is get into my car. I'm not causing any trouble.
What's your name?
It's Kyle, Peter Kyle.
You got the keys to this car?
Matter of fact, I haven't. That's why I'm having so much trouble getting in. If I had the keys, I could just flip the door open and drive off.
Frank?
Yeah.
Here, what are you doing?
Just want to see what you're carrying.
Watch it, Joe. All right, mister. Come on. Get up.
What? I'm doing like you say I'm doing.
Try it again, Frank.
Yeah. Come on. Put your hands back. He's clean, Joe.
All right. Turn around.
I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to shoot.
Yeah, sure.
Honest, you gotta believe me. I didn't mean it.
Come on down here under the light. All right, now stand still.
Yeah, matches the description pretty good.
Where's your partner?
I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. I just hit the guy. I just got in a fight with him. Dusty did the shooting. He did it. I didn't. I just got in a
All
fight.
right, now calm down. Where is he?
I knew you'd catch us. I knew it all the time. I kept telling Dusty we had to get out of town. We got to go. I kept telling him. All the time I was telling him.
Well, where is he?
Home.
Where's that?
He's the one who did it. I just got in a fight. Dusty's the one who shot, not me.
Where do you live, mister?
Down on 4th. That's where old Dusty is. Old, safe Dusty. He said we didn't have to leave. He said you'd never catch us.
All right, let's go.
Old Dusty is always right. Always knows what he's doing all the time. Never makes a mistake. Not old Dusty.
Yeah, well, he made one this time, didn't he?
Peter Gregory Kyle and Jesse Haywood Poole were tried and convicted of murder in the second degree and petty theft 18 counts. They received punishment as prescribed by law. Petty theft is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not more than 1 year in the county jail. Second-degree murder is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 5 years to life.
Dragnet, is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
My name's Regan. I work for Anthony J. Lyon, International Detective Bureau. They call me the Lion's Eye.
Wednesday at 9, and CBS brings you Jeff Regan, Investigator, starring Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. So stand by for mystery and suspense and adventure in tonight's story of The Lady from Brazil.
Her name was Irene Santino. The lady from Brazil, the Lion called her. He figured it for an easy trace job. Something for missing persons, only when we do them, the Lion gets paid. Yeah. The program said it was simple. Except before we wound it up, there were a couple of added attractions. A doctor who didn't do any doctoring, a nurse with a built-in temperature, and a couple of blackouts that were meant to be permanent. And guess what? In that last part, I was supposed to be the star. Anyhow, it all began late last Monday. I was home. My boss, Anthony J. Lyon, knocked on my door. And that's when I made my first mistake. I let him in.
Regan, I'm glad I found you in. I'm just on my way home from the office.
You could have kept on going. I'm out of Johnny Walker.
Oh, now, Regan, I didn't come by just for that. You got anything else?
No.
All right. As a matter of fact, I want your advice, Regan.
Cut out starches and get some exercise. What else?
What would you do if you traveled 10,000 miles just to see your sister and then couldn't find her?
I'd give up the search.
You would? Why?
I haven't got a sister.
Oh, that's not what I'm talking about. You'd go to missing persons, wouldn't you? Sure you would. But if you knew your family in a foreign country would become greatly alarmed at this sort of notoriety, you'd look for your sister in another way. You'd hire a good private detective. Now, isn't that right?
Come on, Fatso, put it on the road.
What do you mean? I'm just posing a simple problem.
And you've got an angle somewhere.
All right, we have a new client. Her name's Irene Santino. She's from Brazil, Rio. Fine family, Regan. Coffee. She's engaged international to locate her younger sister, Carmen.
I'm no St. Bernard.
You'll do till I can feed one. Oh, now, I know you've been working hard lately, but, Regan, this is one of those occasions when I'm proud to be a part of our profession. We have an opportunity to help a young lady in desperate straits and at the same time secure goodwill from South America.
Ever hear of the State Department?
Of course I have, but they can't do it all alone. It's up to individual citizens to take responsibility, too.
And that's the only reason you want me to find a sister?
Absolutely. Now, Miss Santino is taking an apartment at this address. Here, go see her, comfort her, let her know International and the United States of America will do everything possible to locate her lost sister.
Yeah. That all?
That's enough.
What'd she pay you?
$200.
That's a lot of green to get in advance.
Well, she insisted. She's very anxious to find that girl.
Watch out her check doesn't bounce.
It won't. She paid cash.
That $200 was already making a lump in the Lion's coat. And I knew the next spot for it was his mattress. Well, maybe that's the reason he's a bachelor. I left him in my place and drove over to the address he'd given me. It was one of those Beverly Hills apartments with a long, glassy look, like a greyhound with a sore stomach. Irene Santino's apartment was on the second floor. She was a tall, brown-haired girl without a smile. She wore glasses. And when she talked, she sounded sad, like a banjo player with a paper pick.
Thank you so much for coming over, Mr. Regan. I've been very upset all day. I just had to do something about Carmen.
Your sister?
Yes. She's the one I came to California to see.
I heard.
It's an awful vacant feeling. I thought she'd meet me at the airport, and then she wasn't there. And when I went to her address, we were very close.
She's from Rio, too?
Yes.
How's her English?
Well, the same as mine. We were both educated in the United States.
You older than Carmen?
Yes, 2 years. She's 25 now. Carmen left home a year ago. She's always been very independent. And, I received this letter from her a few days ago. It was the first word since she left home.
It came this way?
Yes.
No envelope?
Oh, I threw that away. She wrote her address there at the end, and I didn't see any need for keeping the envelope.
And she wasn't at this address?
There isn't any such address.
What does Carmen look like?
Well, I gave her a snapshot to Mr. Lyon. Didn't he give it to you?
He forgets things.
Well, no matter. I have another. Of course, it's old and not very good. I think it's right here in the suitcase. You'll pardon things strewn all over. I haven't had time to get... Oh, here. Here you are.
I see. She's blonde?
A little lighter than mine. The same height, too. We used to wear each other's clothes. Oh, Mr. Regan, you will be able to find her, won't you?
I don't think you want me to.
Mr. Regan, are you trying to be funny?
You hand me a snapshot so old it could be anybody, and a letter that says nothing, and you want me to turn up a blonde.
But I thought those would be leads. She mentions the name of her doctor.
Is he the man?
Man?
She left home a year ago. She wasn't following the crops. There was a man in it. I've got to have it all, lady.
All right. There was a man. His name was Frank Martin. I met him once in Mexico City. She thought she was in love with him. He lives out on Laurel Avenue.
You talked to him?
No. But I asked questions around. I'm completely satisfied he knows nothing about it. Perhaps if you'd see the doctor, my sister mentioned...
You want me to find your sister?
Yes.
But you don't want me to see this Frank Martin.
I didn't say that.
You didn't have to, lady. Okay. You'll get a report when I've got something. Just one more thing.
What's that?
How long did you stop off on the way to shop in New York?
Why? What makes you think I'd do that?
When you leave your clothes strewn around the label show. There's no Saks Fifth Avenue in Rio. When I walked out, her mouth was wide open like she was trying to scream. Only nothing came out. I hung around outside the door for a minute to see if she'd use the phone, but nothing happened. I looked up Frank Martin in the city directory and drove over to Laurel. A 2-story apartment building the color of a bride's blush. It was wrapped around a swimming pool. Too small for people and too big for birds. Martin's name wasn't on the mailbox, so I looked up the manager.
You don't know me, do you, Pilgrim?
Well, I just got here.
I played the Pels in 26. Oh, them were the days.
Write it up and sell it to the movies.
Them slobs. Central Casting ain't called me in 4 years.
Got a card?
Afros, SAG, and the Musicians Union. I play French horn. None of them call me. I figure it's television. No union yet.
I'm looking for a man named Frank Martin.
Now, look, if you got trouble, stay away from Frank. He bruises easy.
And you're just a mother, too.
He's a nice laddie. Now, remember what I tell you.
Sure.
All right. Come on. I'll show you.
Thanks.
That's him. Up there.
He stays in one key.
All the time. A low one.
You said that once.
Well, here we are. You know, I kind of like you. You get around. Ever run into Mervyn Leroy?
Not yet.
If you do, mention my name, will you?
Sure. What is it?
Just say that Trixie Finnegan was asking for him. He'll remember old Trixie.
How could he forget?
You're not a whooping, you know.
Come on in. It's unlocked.
Your name Frank Martin?
Yeah, who wants to know?
My name's Regan. I'm a private investigator with the International Detective Bureau.
Wrong steer, Gumshoe. I don't need one.
I'm not looking for work. I'm looking for you.
What'd you say it was? Regan?
Yeah.
R-E-G-A-N? Regan. Regan. Just wrote that one. Pretty cute, eh?
I'm looking for a friend of yours, Carmen Santino.
Oh. How is Carmen these days?
I don't know.
But you said you were a detective.
I did.
You sound like an amateur to me.
You sound like a guy with a chip on his shoulder.
You sound like a lot of things. You're trying to get tough, baby.
It figures out when your name isn't on the mailbox.
Yeah?
Nobody would ever write you.
I'll just skip that, Regan. Well, who hired you to do what?
My sister's in town. She's looking for Carmen.
I know Carmen had a sister. What else?
You're the boyfriend.
Boyfriend. It's real good. Let me tell you what she's like, Regan. Eyes just right. Hair just right. Everything just right. Wait till you see her in a bathing suit. That's something, brother.
She isn't wearing one in this picture.
Let's see. No, it's a bad picture, Regan. Hardly looks like her, like she is. Ever met him like that? Well, we're going to be married, Regan. Only she decided all of a sudden she didn't want to. Just like that. It was her idea. Haven't seen her since.
You try?
Once. She moved, no forwarding address. That's all.
Makes a good story.
Yeah, but you don't believe it. Let me tell you the reason we broke up. It's a dilly.
My hearing's good.
Well, you've heard about the happy couple. The guy keeps getting loaded, can't lay off. Well, this is different. This is the big switch.
Carmen.
Yeah, Carmen.
And why she was seeing a doctor?
Carmen, seeing a doctor? Look, why don't you get out of here? We don't like each other.
Sister thinks something might have happened to Carmen. She's scared.
Yeah, some of us are scared part of the time. When somebody makes a lot of noise looking for somebody, then everybody gets scared. You scared, Regan?
Yeah.
What about?
Carmen Santino. I might be looking too late. Well, what he gave me filled in the cast, but the plot wasn't getting any clearer. So I looked up the doctor Carmen had mentioned in her letter. His name was Kingston, and the only address was a place out in Encino. It was a ranch house spilled all over the top of the hill like whipped cream. Figured he was getting oversealing for his pills. I parked my car by the gate, followed the flagstones up to the front door. When I pressed a button, I heard something that sounded like chamber music. And then a blonde girl wearing a red dress that must have been riveted on opened the door about the middle of the second chorus.
I like blue serge. Has an effect on me.
It's the only thing in the closet.
You fill it out nice. But you don't look sick.
I want to see the doctor anyway.
Come on in. We'll talk about it. You are tall, Mr.
Regan.
Regan.
Who are you, Florence Nightingale?
I hold the doctor's stethoscope. My name's Vivian Lytell.
Mind telling him I'm here?
He's busy. He just opened another bottle.
Well, I'm right on time.
Oh, Rex isn't sociable like me. He drinks alone. He gets more that way. Let me entertain you.
Easy, Angel. I don't know how to fix a fracture.
I've already got a man who can do that. I want one with brains.
What's the matter with the doctor?
Keeps his in a bottle. Hasn't used them for a long time now.
He's done all right.
This? He'd be selling papers if his wife hadn't left him a good insurance policy.
Don't you like his money?
Oh, don't get me wrong. It's just that the girl has feelings, too.
Yeah, they show.
I'm glad I met you. We're going to have some nice afternoons.
I thought you worked for a living.
Got lots of free time. Besides, I should have at least one outside interest.
Keep looking. You'll find one.
You smile good, but you talk nasty.
I only came to see Kingston.
Well, there's always a phone. Call and make an appointment. Now, get out.
Oh, Vivian, about... Oh, I didn't know you had company. I'll talk to you another time.
Just a minute, Doctor. This is Mr. Regan.
Huh?
He's your company, but he doesn't have a business card.
Oh. Look, Mr. Regan, I'm no longer in practice, just doing research on my own. I have all the medical equipment I can use. I turned all my patients over to another doctor.
I know one you forgot.
Well, tell me who.
Carmen Santino.
Carmen.
Go ahead, Vivian. I'll speak to Mr. Regan.
Watch yourself, Rex. He doesn't know how to be nice.
Will it take a minute?
Or crack some ice. You'll need a drink.
She's a very fine nurse.
Yeah. It's a nice uniform.
Well, working on my own, very casual.
You said I had a patient named Carmen... What was it?
Carmen Santino.
I'm afraid you're mistaken, Mr. Regan. Who told you that?
Well, I read about you in a letter.
That must have been another Kingston.
There's only one with a license.
You're a relative of the girl's?
Friend.
You're a detective, aren't you?
Yeah. Want to show me your files someday?
Why not today? This way, I keep them right here in my lab. Help yourself, Mr. Regan. Oh, you want a drink?
Too early.
You don't mind if I have one?
Your house.
Didn't find anything?
Not under Santino. She could have used another name.
Oh, that's possible. When was I supposed to have treated her?
Well, about a year ago, according to this letter. Here, this is a picture.
No. Oh. I've never treated anyone who looks like that.
Sure.
Positive. What was their illness?
Might have had something to do with that stuff you're drinking. They die from it sometimes.
I see. You can't see it from this window. But just over the hill, my wife is buried. I had special permission from the county, of course, bury her on my property. She was a great comfort to me. We were very close. I haven't been the same since she passed away. And that is why I am no longer in practice.
I didn't ask for that.
Oh, but you did, with your eyes. You're a strange man. Do you enjoy making a living this way, prying into other people's lives, searching for what is best left alone?
Are you still here, Rex?
Yes, Vivi. He's just leaving. You can find your way?
Yeah.
Well, bye, Blue Surge. You were a real disappointment.
Don't give up. I'll be back.
Don't bother, Regan. The doctor will be out.
The whole thing looked phony, like a fan dancer in long underwear. But when I left the two of them, I was beginning to get an idea, just beginning. I walked over the side of the hill to look at that grave. It was there, all right, like he said. Irene Kingston, 1922, 1948. Well, maybe that explained it. Maybe it didn't. I was remembering those New York labels I'd seen on my clients' clothes. I called up a friend of mine in the CAA. He checked into it and told me nobody named Santino had come in from Rio on any flight in the last week. And the immigration people didn't have a passport or visa record on her either. I was home thinking about all this when my phone began ringing. It was Irene Santino, and she did all the talking.
I tried to get you at your office, Mr. Regan, but no one answered. I had to speak to you.
What about?
I phoned Carmen.
Say that again.
I phoned Carmen. Or rather, Carmen found me. I feel foolish now, calling you people in and all that. She came right to my apartment. Can you imagine she's been looking for me? Please thank Mr. Lyon for his kindness. And, Mr. Regan.
Yeah?
It's all confidential. I wouldn't want any of this to get to the wrong people.
You know some of the wrong kind?
Doesn't everyone? Well, goodbye.
Oh, Regan, you run any expenses on this Santino thing?
No.
Good. It's all over.
Well, how do you know? She just phoned me.
Just came from missing persons. There's a cop there named Perini. Got an eye like an eagle. Had that other picture of the Santino dame with me. He took one look at it and opened up a file.
What kind of file?
Dead and unclaimed.
What do you mean?
The county buried her. Carmen Santino's been dead a year.
This is CBS, and you are listening to The Story of the Lady from Brazil, tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Well, it figured somebody was having nightmares. I didn't say anything to the Lion and went down to the Hall of Records. There was a little guy sitting at the desk in Vital Statistics. His fingernails were dirty, and that wasn't a Harry Drucker haircut he was wearing. He was reading a dictionary, and he must have been at a good part, because he looked mad when I nudged him.
No, we're not in a bus, buddy, so just quit shoving.
I want some information.
Public servant, that's what I'm here for. What kind of information
Death
do you want?
files.
You're such a morbid guy.
Got lots of stuff on births and marriages. Why don't you ask me something about them?
Girl named Carmen Santino died about a year ago. Tell me what from.
Okay, take it easy. How do you spell it?
Just like it sounds.
Santino, huh? Yeah, Santino. What's this? Sabatini, Sailor, Sanaki, Sanford. That's what happened to old Sandy. No wonder I ain't seen him around lately.
Just a Santino.
Oh, yes, Santino, yeah. Yes. Santino. Date of death, 15 October, 1948. Cause of death?
Alcoholic poisoning.
Yeah, that's right. How'd you get it?
Never mind. Who signed the certificate?
Rex J. Kingston, M.D.
Okay. Now, here's one more for you. Look up Irene Kingston.
The doc's wife?
Look it up.
Okay, yes. Let's see. Kingsley. Oh, here. Kingston, Irene, 13 October, 1948.
Cause of death?
You guessed it again. The same. Alcoholic poisoning. Hey, this guy couldn't keep a patient.
Well, that filled it in. I could see the plot, but I wasn't sure of the ending. So I didn't waste any time getting over to Irene Santino's place. But I wasn't fast enough. The door was halfway open when I got there. All the company had left, but Irene was still around. She was sitting there looking at the phone like it was all she had to think about.
Miss Reed.
What's so funny?
Excuse me for not getting up, but I didn't expect you. I told you I found my sister, didn't I?
You told me, but you didn't tell me she was dead.
I didn't even tell you that I haven't got a sister. Did I?
Come on, lady, give it to me. What are you talking about?
This little red spot on my arm. It doesn't look like my sister. But you just wait, Mr. Regan. You just wait. You just wait.
I found a doctor on the floor below. He grabbed his black bag and went to work on her. She quieted down to a slow, inside giggle. Then went out all the way. The doctor got a hold of an ambulance and carted her off to a hospital. They just wheeled her out the door when the lion showed up.
Regan, did I see an ambulance out in front?
That's right. Your client was in it.
Huh?
Somebody stuffed her full of something that made her giggle.
I don't understand all this at all. I stopped by home to change to my dark suit so I could come by and bring Miss Santino the news of her sister's death. And what do I walk into?
You can save your tears, Fatso. She didn't come from Brazil and she wasn't rich.
That woman gave me $200 cash. There was nothing unreliable about her. We had a contract.
Well, New Year's coming up. You can use it for confetti.
Now, see here, Regan.
Look at this picture.
Irene Santino. I have one just like it.
All right, draw some glasses on it. Add about 6 or 7 years.
I don't understand you, Regan. We're talking business, and all at once we're playing games.
Look, when I came to see her tonight, she wasn't wearing her glasses. She looked a lot like the dame in this picture.
Well, of course she did, naturally. That's her own sister.
She never had a sister.
Never had a sister? Then who did the county bury?
That's what I'm going to find out from a certain Dr. Kingston.
I had a feeling you'd be back. I built a fire.
I forgot the marshmallows.
We'll think of something else. I'm not mad anymore.
I'm still looking for your doctor.
Well, let me take care of you. I have a way with men.
Didn't we do all this once before?
Well, it's night now. I'm better with the lights low. You can ask me some questions. I know some swell answers.
I'll bet.
How do you like it?
Your way.
There. That's better. Now let's have a nice, quiet evening. Just you and me.
That's why you wore that?
You like it?
You got talent, lady.
Well, discover me. There's been a famine of men like you.
You don't look underfed.
Come on, you haven't touched your drink.
I want to see him.
Oh, all right. We could have had such a nice evening. Rex.
What is it?
Mr. Regan's here again.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Regan. Didn't I tell you I'd be out?
You told me that, but you didn't tell me what I wanted to know. Had to go to Vital Statistics to get it.
What?
You don't have anything in your files about Carmen Santino, but you signed her death certificate.
Now, you get this, Regan. I don't have to talk to anyone who comes here without a warrant, and you haven't got one.
When I tell the city attorney's office what I've got, they'll have somebody out here to open that grave on the hill.
What do you mean, Regan?
Irene Kingston died 2 days before Carmen Santino of the same thing. Dr. Kingston signed both certificates, and he collects on his wife's insurance. Only I don't think his wife really died. I think that extra grave on the hill is wound dressing.
My wife didn't die, Regan. Where is she now?
I don't know. But she could be around town using the name of Irene Santino. It was a shot in the dark, but it brought results. Kingston swung a lamp base around it, connected on the side of my head. When I came to, I was in a white room in the back of the house. Nothing worked.
Irene,
So I
will you
just lay
please
there.
bring a bottle?
Vivian was standing there with Kingston. He looked sick, like an ostrich with
Will
a sore
you
throat.
please, Irene?
He had a needle in his hand.
I've got the shakes.
You do it all right, Rex. Go ahead.
The same treatment you two tried to give Irene.
Should have stayed out, Regan.
I wanted one more look at you, baby.
I hate to see the nice ones go, but it'll be all over in a minute. All right, Rex.
Give me a drink, Vivian. I gotta have a drink.
It won't help. I found Irene in time. She's in a hospital.
What?
She's going to live. She's going to talk.
Go ahead,
Irene's
Rex.
still alive?
Rex, give it to him, and then we'll clear out.
I didn't kill her. I didn't kill
You'll
her.
do better this time.
I can't.
Go ahead.
No, I won't.
I said go ahead. I'll shoot you, Rex. I'll shoot you if you don't.
No, you won't. It's all over, Vivian. It's all over.
But Kingston was too much for her. All of a sudden, it began going off. Vivian started to look pale. Then she went down, slow.
Oh, she deserved that.
That's what you're going to tell the state?
Regan, is Irene really going to live?
That's what the doctor says.
Oh, good. Regan, look, no, don't try to move. I gave you a shot of preparatory solution. You won't be able to move for another hour. I suppose I ought to run.
You won't get far.
I know. Listen to me. Irene is my wife. She's innocent of all this. When you tell the police the real story,
I haven't got it all. I know it started with Carmen Santino.
Oh, she stumbled in one night, dropped dead before I could do anything for her.
Alcohol.
Yeah. Before she died, she kept talking about a man named Martin.
Lives over on Laurel.
But I didn't get in touch with him. I had a better idea. She looked a great deal like my wife, Irene. It was really quite remarkable.
The insurance.
Yeah. Irene didn't want to do it, but she loved me, so she finally agreed to hide out in New York. I used one body for 2 death certificates, buried an empty box up on the hill. I was supposed to join Irene later. We were going to start a new life together.
Vivian.
Yeah. Vivian came along. I was drinking one night. She found out the truth. I was trapped. Would have stayed that way if Irene hadn't hired you.
Well, it figures she made up that story about a sister from Brazil just to scare you into getting rid of Vivian.
It worked, too. I'm scared stiff.
Yeah, like that guy Martin said. Somebody gets scared, and then you... And everybody.
Regan? Regan, can you hear me?
Huh? Oh, sorry. Stuff's making me sleep.
Yeah, that'll wear off. I'm going now, Regan. See that Irene gets a fair shake.
I'll try. He picked up a bottle and started out the door. He didn't even look down at Vivian's body on the floor. I tried to move, but like you said, nothing worked. It was more than 2 hours before I could get to the phone and call homicide. And it was more than 2 days before I talked to the line.
Jeffrey, my boy, how are you feeling? Better?
Well, the fog's gone out of my head, if that's what you mean. Otherwise, I feel lousy.
Oh, don't take it so hard, my boy. All in a day's work. Besides, there's the brighter side. Yes, indeed.
Like what?
Well, for one thing, they got that Dr. Kingston. He only got as far as Las Vegas. Crime doesn't pay, Jeffrey. Crime just does not pay.
Doesn't, huh? What's this?
Now, wait a minute. Give me that.
Application, consolidated insurance.
It's nothing, I tell you.
You mean to tell me you're going to try to collect rewards?
Well, we did expose an insurance fraud, and there's nothing in the world that stinks like a fraud.
I'll say.
Hey, wait a minute, Regan. Where are you going?
Out to buy an Airwick.
Jeff Regan, Investigator, is written by E. Jack Newman, directed by Sterling Tracy, and stars Frank Graham as Regan, with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. Original music is by Dick Arant. Jeff Regan, Investigator, is heard each week at the same time over CBS. Bob Stevenson speaking, and inviting you to be with us again next Wednesday at 9 for more suspense and mystery and adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to juvenile detail. A narcotic ring has been supplying drugs to the teenagers in your city. There's no lead to the identity of the key people in the operation. Your job? Find them.
It was Monday, February 9th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of juvenile detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Powers. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 8:01 a.m. when I got to Georgia Street Juvenile. The squad room.
Yeah?
That's right.
Hi, old buddy.
Been in long?
Oh, since about 7:30.
How come?
No, I couldn't sleep.
What's the matter? Anything wrong?
Fay and me had a beef. One of the kids is sick. We were up with him most of the night.
What's the matter?
I took him over the rides yesterday.
Rides?
Rides, you know, the place over there where they have the merry-go-round Ferris wheel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got him carried away, I guess. He sure had a good time, though. Took in everything, roller coaster, airplanes, whole works.
Mm-hmm.
She can't expect us to do it on an empty stomach. We had a little something to eat. Guess maybe we overdid it. Anyway, the youngster got sick last night. Fay says I'm to blame. One thing led to something else, and the beef was on.
So you just got up and came into work, huh?
Yeah. Stopped and had some breakfast, read the paper. Come on in.
How's the kid now?
Okay, it was nothing serious. A little too much cotton candy's all. Fay's got a tendency to make too much of those things, but, you know, she always does.
Yeah. Something we can do for you, young fella?
I'd like to talk to somebody.
All right, come on in. Maybe we can help you.
You're a cop?
That's right. It's Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hi.
Hello, son.
What do you want to see us about?
Kind of private. Is there someplace else we can go to talk?
We can, yeah. There's a room down the hall.
Well, that might be better.
All right, we can go down there. Come on. Down this way.
Yeah.
Just a minute. This is it right here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, you want to take a chair right there, son?
Okay.
All right, now what can we do for you?
I want you to put me in jail.
Why?
Because it's the only way I'll stop. I know it. I got to be in a cell or I'll do it again.
What do you mean, son?
I'm hooked bad. I want to stop.
He was a nice-looking boy, well-dressed and clean. He looked like he was in his late teens. He asked us to put him in a cell. There was an intenseness in his eyes that showed that he was serious. Frank and I questioned him further.
What's your name, son?
John Coulter.
You spell the last name for me?
Colter.
How old are you?
17.
Where do you live, son?
You have to have that? Hasn't got anything to do with why I'm here.
Oh, we'll have to have it, son.
1896 Dillon Street.
Is that in L.A.?
Yeah.
How big a habit do you have, son?
I'm using 4 a day.
How long you been hooked?
A year, a day before yesterday.
Want to let us see your arms?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of marks there, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
A couple of them there we better have the doctor look at.
No, all right. I don't care anymore.
How long since you had a fix?
Last night.
You must be feeling a little rough by now, then, aren't you?
Not easy.
Oh, I guess it is.
Hey, you mind pulling those blinds? It's awful bright in here.
Yeah, okay.
You live with your folks?
My father died when I was 5.
Your mother know about this?
No.
She's going to have to, you know.
Then you're going to tell her I'm not.
All right, we'll take care of that.
Is the light better now, son?
Yeah, thanks.
When'd you eat last?
Yesterday.
You hungry now?
No.
How about a cup of coffee?
No, thanks.
How'd you get started on this stuff?
Oh, it probably runs like all the rest of the stories you've heard.
Well, why don't you tell us yours anyway?
All right.
You sure we can't get you some?
Only one thing would do any good, and you can't give that to me.
All right, go ahead. Now, how'd you get started?
A couple of years ago, it was Halloween. The kids had a party.
Well?
We all went to this house. Kid that owned it had the rooms all decorated up, you know, paper streamers and those cardboard skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
Had the whole place done up like that. We got there and found out they were figuring to play games. We went the game route for a while, and a bunch of us decided to leave. Things were dull, so we left.
Where'd you go?
Oh, just drove around for a while, tried to figure something to do.
Whose card you have?
One of the kids had his father's.
All right, go ahead.
Well, we drove around for a while, and one of the kids said for us to go up to Mulholland. Go up and scare the lovers up there.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything else to do, so we drove up. When we got there, one of the guys, a fellow I didn't know too good, said he had some tea. Said we should have a blast party.
This boy was at the other party, was he?
Yeah, but I didn't know him. Didn't meet him until we were out on the ride.
You go to your school?
No.
All right, son, go ahead.
Well, we parked, and he took out these cigarettes. He had them in a tobacco can. You know, like you buy pipe tobacco in.
Uh-huh.
Had them in one of them. Well, then we lit up and started to smoke. At first it made me sick. I didn't like it much. Come right down to it, I didn't think the whole thing was such a good idea.
Why'd you do it then?
All the kids there had to, or they'd have said I was chicken.
All right. How'd you get started on the hard stuff?
Oh, I just got to the point where there wasn't much kick in tea. You know, same thing all the time. Wanted to go up a step.
Who set you up?
One of the kids I met.
Wasn't the same boy who had the marijuana, was it?
No. You see, once in a while we'd go to a big blast party at somebody's house. Be other kids there. New ones. I met Jerry there.
Jerry, that's the boy's name?
Yeah, Jerry Roth.
How old is he?
19.
Is he hooked?
Yeah.
Was he when you met him?
I guess so.
How'd he spell his last name, son?
Roath.
How'd he turn you on?
We were talking about tea. How the kick wore off. And he said there was something else. Something that had a real jolt.
Yeah.
Boy, it's rough. I'm starting to get cramps.
You better have that cup of coffee now.
I'll get it, Joe.
All right. Feel pretty rough, don't you, son?
Yeah. It's a good thing I'm here. I'd start looking for a connection.
Did you take your first shot of heroin the night you met this Roth kid?
Yeah. We went outside to his car. He had a fit there, and he cooked up a fix. He took one, then I tried it.
What happened?
Never got so sick in my life. Thought I was going to die. Figure what's happened since then might have been a good thing.
How you been supporting your habit?
Only a couple of ways. You steal or you start pushing yourself.
Which way do you go?
Both.
What'd you steal?
Anything I could sell. Never took anything from anybody else, though, all from my own house. Most of the stuff was given to me. Rings, my watch, whatever I could raise a buck on.
What'd you get rid of it?
Around the school. Couldn't go near a pawn shop, but the kids didn't care as long as they got a bargain. Sold my old man's watch for $3. 17 jewels, solid gold, $3.
What were you pushing?
T, H, anything. I'd buy the H and then cut it myself. You don't have to do that many times until you got a couple of extra caps. That took care of me for a while.
Yeah.
Pretty soon there was never enough. Got so as I was always looking forward to the next fix.
When'd you start mainlining it?
I chippied with the stuff for a couple of months. Skin pops. Then that wasn't enough. Started in the arm.
When'd you find out that you were hooked, son? Do you remember?
About a year.
Took a while, huh?
I figured it would never happen. Thought I could beat it. Turn it off when I wanted to. Didn't work out that way.
Didn't you know you had it bad when the charge went up?
Not really. I still thought I could quit when I wanted to. Just never seemed to get that far. Kept putting it off. Guess if I figured I could start the next day, it didn't matter much. Time I decided to quit, I couldn't.
Here's your coffee, John. Brought one for you, too, Joe.
Thanks.
Hot.
Try to get it down. It'll make you feel a little better.
Yeah. Cramp's getting worse. You got a doctor here?
Yeah, there's one upstairs.
I better see him. Might be something he can do.
Is your mother at home?
No, she works.
She there now?
What time is it?
9:15.
Be about 10 minutes.
Better give us the number, huh?
Yeah. You're going to call her, huh?
That's right.
Going to tell her about it?
Yeah.
Going to take it pretty hard. I don't think she knows anything about it.
Well, we have to do it.
I guess so. Tell her how there's a cure, though, huh? She's going to be pretty scared.
How do you mean?
She read where only 2% come out of it.
Well, there's less than that who want to be helped. There's a lot less.
Yeah?
Maybe you got a piece of that 2%. 8:57 a.m. The boy was taken up to see the doctor on duty at the receiving hospital. At a couple of minutes after 9, we put in a call to the firm where his mother was employed. We talked to the personnel manager, and he said he'd have Mrs. Calder call us. A few minutes later, the phone rang, and we talked to the woman. We told her briefly what had happened and asked her to come right over to the office. At 9:25 a.m., the door to the squad room opened, and a tired-looking woman who looked to be in her late 40s or early 50s entered. She identified herself as Nora Calder and asked us what had happened to her son.
He's upstairs right now, Miss Calder. The doctor's looking at him.
He told me he's been using narcotics.
That's right.
Is that what he says?
Well, he's admitted it to us.
Is he all right?
Well, we think so. He's got an infection on his arm caused by a bad needle.
But it's going to be all right.
That's right.
You have a cigarette, Sergeant?
Yeah. There you are.
Thanks.
Help yourself.
Here's a light.
I guess I should have known it'd be something like this.
Beg your pardon?
I should have known. Had to show up someplace.
I don't think I understand, Miss Calder.
There's a trouble spot in them all, Sergeant, all of them. This is Johnny's. Hope you don't think I'm saying this personal to you. It's just what I've seen in the years I've gone around. Trouble spot in all men.
Did you know your son was using heroin?
No, I didn't have any idea.
Well, according to what he told us, he's been hooked for over a year. You must have noticed something, didn't you?
When you use the word hooked, I'm afraid I don't understand that kind of
Oh,
talk.
I'm sorry. I mean, he's been an addict for that long.
Sergeant, I've been working for a long time. Ever since Johnny's father died. I worked before then. When I get home after standing on my feet all day, I got a few more important things to do than wonder what he's doing. All I can do is just drag myself down to the factory every morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Always something, bills to go over. Decide who's going to have to wait this month, clothes to wash and iron. Time I just get the things done that have to be taken care of. It's all I can do to climb into bed before I pass out.
All right, Miss Calder, we understand.
I wonder if you do.
How's that?
I said I wonder if you do understand. Have you ever raised a boy by yourself?
No, ma'am.
I have. Believe me, it isn't easy. Since 11 years ago, I've been a mother and a father both to Johnny. I always knew there'd be something that'd blow up. I knew it because he's just like his father, exactly like him. I'm 35 years old. 35, and for the past 17 years, I haven't had a minute of happiness.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything we can get for you, Mrs. Calder?
No. Only thing I want is a little happiness. It seems like there just isn't going to be any of that while I'm on this earth. I'm sick, Sergeant. I'm old and I'm sick, and I can't go through any more of this.
Your boy's pretty sick, too.
Yes. I know all about that, too. I read how none of them cures work. Well, they say 2%. There's something else I got to carry.
Might be a little different with John.
I don't see why. No reason for him to be something special. No reason for him to be cured.
Yes, there is. He wants it, Miss Calder.
What's going to happen to him?
We'll file a petition on him.
After that?
Well, he'll have to make an appearance in juvenile court. They'll decide what treatment's going to be best for him.
Can I see him?
Yes, ma'am. We can take care of that.
Now?
Frank, you want to see if the doctor's through them?
Yeah.
You have another cigarette, Sergeant.
Yes, here you are. Here's a match.
Thanks, Sergeant.
It's all right. I want to tell you something, Miss Calder. Your son's pretty sick. He's not going to look too good when you see him.
You been hurt?
Not so it shows, but he's going through a great deal of pain. There's going to be a lot more.
For both of us, Sergeant.
Well, I guess you're right at that. Might be better if you remember that he's just a youngster. He's only 17.
I won't forget. He's mine.
All right. He's made a mistake, but he knows it, and he's taken it on himself to try and do something about it.
Tell you something, Sergeant.
All right.
I've had a lot of trouble with Johnny. He was little. He was always running away from home. Time he got to school, he played hooky a couple of times a week. High school, it was the same thing, but that's not the worst of it.
Ma'am?
He's been stealing. From his own mother, he's been stealing.
Yes, ma'am, he told us.
He admitted it?
Yes, he did.
Well, there you are. Not bad enough he's a dope fiend, he's a thief, too. I wasn't sure about the stealing, I just thought so. A few things have been missing around the house, and I'd asked Johnny about him. He'd offered some half-baked story, and now I know. He's a thief. I haven't got enough.
Try to take it easy with the boy.
Take it easy. That's a laugh. All I've done for him, nice home. Not real big or fancy, but it's clean. We've got a kind of closet, sort of, nice and big with a window. Got that all fixed up for Johnny, airplane pictures on the walls. The best I could do. We eat good. Never gone hungry. Lord knows I have, but he hasn't. No reason for him to do a thing like this. No reason at all.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Mother.
I know all about it, Johnny. These men told me. All the time I've been telling you it'd end up like this. You in trouble with the police. You just wouldn't listen. You thought you knew better than me. Well, you found out how much you know.
Yeah. I'm sorry about it.
It's a little late for that. How am I going to go home with all the neighbors knowing about what's happened?
I'm sorry.
Well, if that lot of good that's going to do. I had you home right now. I'd show you, and don't think you're too big for me to do it.
You want to take me upstairs, Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Just a minute. I got some more things to say to you. Don't you go walking out on me like that.
I don't feel so good. I'd like to be by myself. I'll talk to you later.
You talk to me now. I got a lot of things I want to tell you, all the trouble you've caused.
I'm sorry. Please, Mr. Smith, it's tough enough.
All right, let's go then.
You bring him back here. You bring him back. Well, that's it. Now they're both gone. Now there isn't anybody.
Anything we can get for you, Miss Calder?
Yeah. Get me a reason why this had to happen. Give me one. Do you know one?
Well, I can't be sure.
What do you mean by that?
Just like you said before.
What?
He's your son. We made arrangements for Mrs. Calder to be taken to her home. That night, John Calder was kept at Georgia Street Jail. The next morning, we filed a petition on him. We had one of the doctors at the county hospital talk to Mrs. Calder, and he finally convinced her that her son would get proper treatment at one of the state hospitals, and she signed the necessary papers. For the next 3 days, the boy had it pretty rough. If the novice drug user had the opportunity to witness a patient going through withdrawal pains, the majority of drug traffic would be brought to a halt. Because of the sincerity of the Calder boy, Frank and I spent as much time as we could spare with him while he was going through the symptoms. He complained of violent headaches and stomach cramps, the usual things. He was unable to keep any food down. His eyes watered constantly, and for 72 hours he was in a state of constant violent pain. On the 4th day, he began to recover. He was able to take some warm beef broth and apparently was on his way to being physically well. On Saturday, February 15th, we talked to him at the hospital.
Rough go.
Yeah. You got the worst of it behind you now.
Best thing I've heard for a week. Don't think I could go through any more of it.
Well, you got it made now, John. From here on in, you'll get all the help we can give you.
Well, you guys have done a lot already. A couple of times there, I think I would have gone off my rocker if I hadn't been able to talk to you.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Hey, either one of you got any gum?
Yeah, sure. Here's some.
Jumpy. I gotta do something to calm down. You seen my mother?
She called us yesterday, yeah.
How's she getting along?
A lot better. One of the doctors here at the hospital talked to her. Says she wants to see you.
What's that going to prove? Be the same thing. Her telling me how tired she is, how I'm a goofball.
I don't think so this time. It hasn't been easy for her either, you know.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, why don't you give her a chance to make it up? She wants to.
Yeah. I guess there isn't much more I can do.
All right, now, there are a couple of things we want to ask you.
What?
We want the men who kept you supplied.
Names?
That's right.
You figure I'll tell you?
Don't you figure you will?
Wrong base. I'm a bum in a lot of ways, but I ain't going to get anybody else in trouble.
You told us about this Jerry Rope, didn't you?
Yeah.
We got a warrant out on him now. Only be a matter of time before we pick him up.
Then let him tell you.
Do you think you got it a little wrong here?
Yeah?
What'd these people do for you?
They're friends.
Check the books. Go over what they've done for you against what you've done for them.
What do you mean?
You're a big boy. Figure it out for yourself. You know, they tell us there's an estimated 25,000 narcotic users right here in Los Angeles, and a big part of them are kids.
Reads good. Figures always help.
I know you remember something else, youngster. You came to us and you asked for help, didn't you? You walked into the office, you said you were in trouble. We're not trying to steal a plea or sound like big men, but when you said you wanted help, we didn't ask you if you could afford it. We didn't care. Now, if these people are such good friends, why didn't you go to them? I'll tell you why you didn't. Because you were scared. You knew what had happened if you walked up to them with empty pockets. You knew they'd spit right in your face. They're your buddy as long as you can pay for it. As soon as you're broke, they never met you, did they? Loyalty's fine. It's a good thing. People could use a lot more of it. But turn it around, son. You've stolen things from your own family to support this habit. Now, how loyal have your friends been when you haven't had the price of a cap? How quick did they come through for you then? You know what it's like in here. You've had it bad. Any of your friends been around to see you? Any of them been willing to hold your head while your insides fell out? Now, we asked you a question. We don't really need the answer from you. We'll pick up the people that did this. We'll reach every one of them, from the mule that sold you that first cap to the guy who's been bringing the stuff right into the country. We just figured you'd like the chance to help out the other 25,000. I guess we had it wrong, didn't we? There's the phone. Put in a call to one of your high-powered friends. See how fast they come through for you now. You don't need us, and we don't need you. Let's go, Frank.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'll give you the names.
We talked to the boy for another hour and a half. During that time, he gave us as much information as he could on the operation of the narcotics ring. He supplied us with the names, dates, times, and places. However, he could only go so high in the organization. Frank and I went back to the office and we called narcotics detail. We talked to Sergeant Roxy Lucarelli and his partner, Steve Broadhurst. We filled them in on what had happened and gave them a list of the names we had. The roundup of narcotics salesmen started. Inside the next 24-hour period, 14 men and women had been taken into custody. Each one of them was interrogated, but they either didn't know the name of the key man in the operation or they refused to tell it. They were all booked on various sections of the state narcotics code. On Wednesday, February 18th, we received word that Jerry Roth had been picked up in a washroom in Pershing Square. Frank and I went over to the main jail to talk to him.
All right, get it over with.
We want one thing from you, Roth.
Yeah?
The name of the wheel.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Roll up your sleeves, boy.
What for?
Roll them up. Let's see the other one.
They're both the same.
Let's see it. It's marks, John.
What's that proof?
That you're left-handed. When'd you have your last fix?
Who says I use the stuff at all?
Oh, come off it, Roth. We got you and you know it.
I don't see where it says that.
How old are you?
Well, you got the record. Look it up.
You're a big talker, aren't you, son?
I live that way, too.
Well, you're just taking a little drop, kid.
You won't keep me here for more than 12 hours.
Don't make book on that.
Well, I got a lot of friends in this town. They'll get me out.
You keep believing that. We put a hold on you when we came in.
What's that mean?
It means you'll be dropped into an ISO cell. Isn't going to be anybody who can talk to you without us knowing about it. Everybody comes near you is going to be checked back to the time they were born.
And what's that going to prove?
We'll get to the wheel.
You talk loud, cop, but I got trouble with my ears.
All right, you sit right with it, kid. You'll be screaming for us to talk with you.
Yeah, sure.
Keep believing it, because I'll give you one thing free.
Yeah?
Next time we're here, it'll be to listen. Jerry Roth was returned to his cell, and Frank and I went back to the investigation. For the next 2 days, we kept a constant check on the suspect. During that time, nobody had attempted to see him or talk to him. Saturday, February 21st, we got back to the office from lunch.
Want to check the book?
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah, we're supposed to call the main jail.
Roth probably wants to talk.
Well, we might have tried to spring him.
Yeah.
This Friday, juvenile. When? We'll be right over.
Roth?
Yeah.
Want to talk?
Well, maybe we can ask him.
Huh?
They just cut him down. He tried to hang himself. Frank and I left the office and drove over to the jail. The boy had torn his trousers into strips and braided them into a rope. He'd attempted to take his own life. He'd been found on a routine check and had been cut down. The action had been discovered almost immediately, and by the time we got there, he was almost fully recovered. We talked to him in the interrogation room.
Kind of lousy way out, isn't it, kid?
That looked good at the time.
How's it seem to you now?
I made a mistake.
How do you feel?
Pretty lousy.
You want to give us the name?
What kind of protection do I get?
How do you mean?
Well, if I tell you, I gotta know he ain't gonna get me.
Well, we'll try to build some kind of a wall for you.
You won't know it's me?
No, not from us.
All right. His name's Pollard Zern.
You want to spell that?
Yeah, Z-E-R-N-E.
He the top man?
Yeah, I built the whole thing.
Did he bring this stuff into the country?
Yeah, Sergeant, he's got a boat. He tells people he's going fishing for albacore.
Was he bringing it in from Mexico?
Yeah, I've been with him a couple of times. He lands the boat at a beach down there, makes the contact, and then comes home. Hides the stuff in fish. Got the idea from an old movie. That way, if they lift the boat over, chances are they won't find it.
Nice setup, huh?
Yeah, it sure worked good for him.
Yeah.
He made a mint, got a big house, drives a new car, got everything he wants. Just sits back and pulls a handle. Jackpot every time.
No, not this time.
Huh?
He just turned a lemon.
Pollard Harris Zern and the other members of the narcotics gang were tried and convicted of violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony, and received sentence as prescribed by law. A petition was filed on John Keith Coulter, and he was made a ward of the juvenile court. After treatment, he was pronounced cured and returned to the custody of his mother.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the material and direct quotations included in the following program have been taken from authoritative files and from dispatches filed by the Associated Press and International News Service. We present these statements without editorial comment. We assume no responsibility for their content.
The American Broadcasting Company presents 1 out of 7. 24 hours make a day, 7 days make 1 week. And from these past 7 days, the editors here in our San Francisco newsroom have chosen the one story which they have judged most worthy of retelling. This is 1 out of
7. Theodore Gilmore Bilbo is an honorable man. As a member of the United States Senate, he is looked upon as such by the eyes of the law. Perhaps he is looked upon as such by many or most of his constituents. Though his voice occasionally grate upon the nerves, and his views often confound the innocent, the fact remains, as a member of the Senate of the United States, Theodore Gilmore Bilbo is an honorable man, and we do not intend to prove otherwise. We merely wish to cite a few samples of his handiwork, and perhaps a supplementary side glance or two, just for the sake of contrast. Adjust your dials most carefully, citizens. Herewith presenting Senator Theodore Bilbo, picture number 1. Scene: the chamber of the Mississippi State Legislature. Time, March 23rd, 1944. The Speaker.
The chair recognizes our distinguished guest, the Honorable Theodore Bilbo, United States Senator from the state of Mississippi.
Gentlemen, at this moment, I cannot urge you too strongly to continue the valiant fight to uphold our racial integrity. We must renew our faith and allegiance to the color line. For your information, I have found that certain Negro organizations are determined to secure passage of anti-poll tax measures. It's their first wedge toward the fulfillment of a dastardly equality program which Negro leaders have launched throughout the South and throughout the nation. That equality they must not and will not attain.
After his stirring appeal to the legislature, Senator Bilbo informs a small group of friends in confidential tones.
You know, gentlemen, I found out that a prominent national official asked Southern colleges and universities to open their doors to Negroes. You know what I told him? Well, I'll tell you what I told him. I said, Negroes will never get into our universities. You Negro-loving Yankees can go straight.
As a member of the Senate of the United States, Theodore Bilbo is an honorable man, and we do not intend to prove otherwise. Here is picture number 2.
Hello, Senator Bilbo speaking.
Senator, this is Representative Mark Antonio of New York speaking.
Yes, what do you want?
Senator, I just got a letter from a lady who lives in my district. It seems that she wrote you that letter about your filibustering against the FEPC. Well, she says she stated her case fairly. And she also says that as a reply, you wrote her one of the dirtiest letters possible.
Well, yes, I think I did.
Well, Senator, she also says you addressed her with the greeting, "My dear Dago." Is that correct?
Of course that's correct. That's what I called her. She's a wop, ain't she?
That lady's Italian, Senator. If that's what you mean. I just thought you'd like to know that the lady has 3 brothers in the Army in Europe. One of them has been killed in action already. You know, if you had a shred of decency in you, you'd apologize for that letter.
I'll never apologize why she's getting off light. Now, listen, she really would have been scorched if I was mad.
Theodore Bilbo is an honorable man. We do not intend to prove otherwise. Here is picture number 3. Scene: the chamber of the United States Senate. Time: the 30th of June, 1945. Senator Bilbo is filibustering against passage of the Fair Employment Practices Commission. And during his prolonged dissertation to the gentlemen of the Senate, the following occurs.
The senator from Mississippi may continue. Thank you. Gentlemen, I have been hearing much talk about the supposed bravery of our Negro soldiers. I have it on good authority and from some of the highest-ranking generals in our army that our Negro troops overseas are an utter and abysmal failure. They're just no good. And as for giving them a vote, why, they'd only sell their votes to the highest bidder anyway, so why give it to them in the first place?
At the same moment, deep in the jungle of an embattled Pacific island, a Negro soldier pens a note back home to his family. And maybe this work's pretty hard, Margaret, but it's a job that you just have to do. It's been 3 days now, got no sleep. Their bombers are still paying us visits. And it still doesn't look like the war's going to be over soon. But we have to keep on. Just keep on. I know. I just know everything's going to turn out all right. And when we finally get back, the folks will realize what we've done. And I'll bet they look at us differently. You know, for the first time, they'll see that bullets can kill anybody. They'll see, black or white, when blood runs out on the ground, it's all the same color. That's what the Negro GI thought. But back in the chamber of the United States Senate, Theodore Bilbo thought differently.
I have it on good authority, and from some of the highest-ranking generals in our army, that our Negro troops overseas are an utter and abysmal failure.
When Senator Bilbo made that statement, he was standing under the roof of the United States Senate. It is very safe in the United States Senate. A bomb hasn't fallen there for quite some time. You must understand, please, this is merely a portrait, an interesting portrait, of a duly elected representative of the American people. For you see, Theodore Bilbo is an honorable man, and we do not wish or intend to prove otherwise. Here is picture number 4. Though the senator has firm convictions on certain subjects, there is seen a mounting tide of sentiment equally firm, equally convinced that the senator errs. On the 10th of August, 1940. Senator Bilbo, it is the opinion of the Committee of Catholics for Human Rights that your conduct toward racial minorities is a chilling deterrent to worldwide belief that America is the symbol of democratic freedom and human rights. In a recent statement to the press, you attacked the Jewish people of the United States on the grounds that their race had damned and crucified Christ. You used this highly metaphysical argument to damn, vilify, besmirch, and otherwise persecute the Jewish people in America to further your own political ends. By lucid contrast, a few days after his attack on the Jews, Senator Bilbo is stricken suddenly with a strange ailment. He is put aboard a train and speeds northward for treatment. And is it not strange that the senator demands to be taken to the Mayo Clinic? Is it not strange when you consider that the Mayo Clinic was founded and operated by the Mayo brothers, 2 members of the Jewish race professing the Jewish faith? But obviously, the senator is not loath to take advantage of the skill of the Jewish race. In the end, the senator's critical operation is a success, and in a few weeks he returns to the floor of the Senate with another plan for the American Negroes.
Gentlemen, for the best interests of the nation and all concerned, I believe a colony for American Negroes should be established on the west coast of Africa, bordering the state of Monrovia. Because of the exigencies of the times, any Negro who is race conscious and smart should be ready and more than willing to settle down in such a colony in West Africa.
The very same day in the halls of the Senate, hallowed by the figures of men the likes of Lincoln and Jefferson, Theodore Bilbo, as a representative of the American people, had this to say.
I cannot vote for the appointment of Mrs. Franklin Roosevelt as delegate to the United Nations Organization for the United States. No. She is a woman who has professed friendship for the Negro elements in America. She has no place representing us abroad. Mr. President! Mr. President!
The chair recognizes the senator from Idaho.
Mr. President, I should like to congratulate the senator from Mississippi. He doesn't know it, but he's just paid a splendid compliment to Mrs. Roosevelt by voting against her.
Mr. President, gentlemen, please. I'd like to add one more note. A word of warning to our senator from the South. It isn't going to be long now, Senator, before the people of Mississippi see the light and knock you out of office on that part of your anatomy where your few brains are undoubtedly located. You must understand, please, this was merely a portrait, an interesting portrait of a representative of the American people. For, after all, Senator Theodore Gilmore Bilbo is an honorable man. He is looked upon as such by the eyes of the law. He is an honorable man. We did not intend to prove otherwise.
The script for 1 out of 7 is written by James Edward Moser. Gil Dowd is the producer, and music by Otto Clare at the Hammond organ. The material used in tonight's program was taken from authoritative files and from dispatches by Associated Press and International News Service. Listen next week, same time, same station, for
1 out of 7.
This is ABC, the American Broadcasting.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A wholesale drug company has been held up. $4,000 in narcotics has been taken. Your job? Find it.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, July 10th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 10:51 p.m. when we got to Highland Park Division, the coffee room.
Joe, Frank, over here.
Hi, Luke.
Hi, Roxy. Want a cup of coffee?
Yes,
I'll
sounds
get
good.
it, Joe.
Okay. How's it going, Luke?
Pretty good. Kind of hot.
Yeah.
Makes me wish I'd built that patio out of that place.
Yeah,
You got a dime and change, Joe?
Yeah, wait a minute. Here you go.
Thanks.
That was a half, you know. Bring me some change.
Don't worry. Wait a minute. You want to take one of these cups, Joe?
Yeah, I got it.
How about you? You want some more, Luke?
No, thanks. Okay.
Well, what do you got for us, Luke?
I gave you the call as soon as we got it. The way it bills is that a patrolman picked him up over on Monte Vista.
Uh-huh.
Spotted him in a parked car. Checked on it and found the guy was pretty sick. First he thought it might be a 502, but after he got a good look, figured it was a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Fellow was out cold, couldn't tell anything.
Uh-huh.
They called an ambulance and took the guy over to Lincoln Heights Receiving and gave him treatment there. Checking it out, they found several puncture marks on his arm. Thought he might be a diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
His appearance was shock. Checked on his personal effects and came up with this.
Mm-hmm. Drug vial.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see, Joe.
Oh, yeah, here.
The label's all cut up, but there's enough left to tell the serial numbers.
Yeah.
One of the vials taken from Arnold's.
Morphine.
That's right.
What's his name?
Norman Curie.
What you got on him?
Not much. According to R&I, he's been picked up a couple of times for marks.
Has he said anything to you?
Not much. He's feeling pretty rocky. Still coming out of it. I haven't been able to get anything out of him.
What's he say about the vial?
Nothing. Acts like a war prisoner. All he says is his name, gives his address.
So check out.
A couple of guys over there now.
Hmm.
Figures you want a piece of it, might be able to get something out of him.
Oh, I don't know. No reason for us to make it if you guys didn't.
Well, maybe. Might give it a try.
Okay. Finished?
Yeah. Here, I'll take the cups.
Okay. Can I have the change from that half?
Wait a minute, buddy. I'll give it to you on the way back.
All right, let's go.
Okay. You want to check your gun?
Yep. You want to give us a check for these, please?
Oh, yeah.
Has anybody talked to Curie?
Not that I know of. He hadn't made any calls. No one's been here to see him.
Mm-hmm.
The morphine vial, the only thing he had on him?
Yeah. Turned his pockets, but it's all we could find. Fellows might do better in his room.
It'll be a real break if it ends right here, won't it?
That's for sure.
Here you go. Number 6 is a belly gun.
All right, thank you. No, that's mine. Here's yours, Frank.
Okay. Here's your change.
All right, thank you. Anything on the car he was in?
No. The officer that picked him up went over it, but they didn't turn in anything.
Is he the registered owner?
Yeah.
You want to talk to Curie again, huh?
That's right.
How long is he going to be here?
We'll take him downtown in the morning.
Right. I'll be out front when you're ready to leave.
Okay.
Great.
You back again?
That's right.
Brought some help, huh?
Want to ask you some questions, fella.
My name's Norman Curie. I live at 9672 Farnham Street.
Yeah, I've heard.
Then you've had it for me. I'm not giving you the time till I talk to a lawyer.
Where'd you get the morphine vial?
My name's Norman Curie. I live
All right,
at
we've been through all that.
9672 Farnham Street.
Look, you're in for a lot more than a narco charge.
From where you sit?
No matter how you see it. You got trouble, Curie.
Go ahead, cop. I like stories.
You're not doing yourself any good with this routine.
You're not doing me any harm. I don't have to talk to you. Nothing in the book says I got to give you fresh air. Now, all of you, get off my back. You come in here and try to nail anything more than narcotics on me, the guys in the coffee room will laugh you right out of the station. Once around, I'll give it to you again. My name's Norman Curie, and I live at 9672 Farnham Street, and that's it.
You're giving us no more.
You've had it.
All right, let's go.
How long are you going to hold me here?
You'll be moved in the morning.
When do I call a lawyer?
I'll leave word out front.
Thanks.
Here. Jim, want to unlock it?
You guys understand, huh?
What?
Hope you ain't sorry about what I said, just that there isn't anything I can give you.
Yeah, sure.
Just that nobody likes to be shoved around. Gets to the point where everybody's on your back. A guy don't like it.
Yeah.
Might not look like it, fella, but I ain't trying to be a big man.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it.
Huh?
You're not. The following morning, the suspect was removed to the main jail and booked in on suspicion of violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony. He was photographed and fingerprinted. The combined efforts of the Narcotics Division and Robbery Detail had been devoted to the apprehension of the thieves who'd stolen the drugs. The arrest of Curie had been the first lead we'd gotten to the disposition of the stolen merchandise, but without his cooperation, there was little chance that we could get to the ringleaders. The next day, Frank and I checked with informants who might be able to supply us with any information. All of Curie's known associates were interrogated. None of them helped us. We got word that Curie had been released on bail at noon. Narcotics Division had assigned officers to follow him, and all of his actions were being observed. Everyone he met was being checked on. 5:10 p.m., Wednesday afternoon. We got back to the city hall from a meeting with Captain Carl Shy of Narcotics.
I'll get the log we can check out.
Yeah, it's been a long day, hasn't it?
Yeah, you can say that again. A lot of walking. You want to check the book?
Yeah.
Anything?
Wait a minute. Yeah, Skipper wants to see us. He's in Thad Brown's office.
Yeah?
Friday?
Curie? What do you want?
I got something for you.
All right.
All right if I sit down?
Sure, go ahead.
It's a lousy deal, Friday. Lousy.
It is.
Worst. Sit in the can trying to figure out some way to keep him clean. They pull a stunt like this on me.
What are you talking about?
Well, you took the supply away from me last night. I had to make another connection this morning. As soon as I got out, I went over to see him. He treated me like I just got into town. Lousy.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't worth it. If you're going to act like that, it's going to cost him.
That so?
Yeah, you better call that Lucarelli. Is that his name?
That's right.
Yeah, get him over here. He's going to want to hear it, too.
Hear what?
I'm going to give you a chapter and verse on the whole deal.
Frank put in a call to Narcotics Division and asked Sergeant Roxy Lucarelli to come over to the office. It took him less than 5 minutes to get there. In the meantime, we briefly questioned Curie and found that he wanted to cooperate fully in the apprehension of the gang. When Roxy got there, we started to get the full story.
All right, what can you tell us about the robbery?
Nothing. I didn't have any part of it.
Where'd you get the M?
Picked it up in the bar.
You got the address?
Yeah, place down on 5th.
Who's your connection?
Guy named Corbett.
Got a first name for him?
Olin.
How's that go, O-L-A-N?
Yeah, I guess so.
When'd you make the buy?
Yesterday afternoon.
The whole vial?
Yeah.
Did you scratch up the label?
No, it was that way when I got it.
Did you know the stuff was stolen?
I put it down that I didn't ask for an original bill of sale.
What about this Corbett? What do you know about him?
Been hanging around the place a long time. I see him there all the time.
Ever been in trouble?
You mean with the cops?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess he's been picked up a couple of times for possession.
You ever done any time?
A couple months in the county jail.
Probation?
I think so. I never got in a big conversation with him about it.
You know where he got this stuff?
I can't pin it down for you.
Got an idea?
Well, it must be the bar. A lot of places there you can get connections.
You know who it could have been?
No.
Anybody around there got a lot of money that they can't explain?
Well, most of the customers will fit that.
You want to give us a description of this Corbett?
What's that for?
I'd like to check his record.
Oh. Well, let's see. I think he's about 45, maybe 46. Around in there someplace.
Yeah.
Guess he's about 160 pounds. 5'9", I think.
Go ahead.
Well, he's got kind of dark hair. Gray, in here. Around the temples.
Yeah.
Like that.
Anything else about him?
Well, he's got a kind of limp. One leg is shorter than the other.
You know which leg it is?
No. No, I never paid any attention to it.
Ring any bells for you, Rox?
It might be. I think I know who he's talking about.
I'll check R&I, Joe.
All right. How about it, Kerry? You know if any more of the stuff has been passed?
Well, I can't say for sure. This is the first bunch of it I bought. Guess there's some more of it that's been pushed. Well, it sure jolted me. I'm not used to that drugstore stuff.
You know anybody that's bought?
No.
How come the stuff you got wasn't cut?
I don't know. I guess somebody goofed. Sure made me sick.
What happened when you went back there today?
Well, I walked into the place. I figured to get something up. You'd have thought I was a cop.
All right.
Now, there wasn't anybody in the place that had anything to do with me.
Was Corbett there?
You mean this morning?
Yeah.
No, but at least I didn't see him.
Hold on a minute. Robbery Friday. In just a minute. Murphy? No, he's not here. Can I take a message? All right. I have it. I'll have him call as soon as he gets in. You bet. Did you hear anything about the robbery?
No, I didn't. A couple of small-type rumbles out, but nothing you can pin down.
What'd they say?
Just that there was a heist, no names used.
Anything on who's responsible?
I told you it was just a small rumble.
What do you figure about it?
Huh?
You got any ideas who might have done it?
Well, nothing you can take to court. I give you pretty short odds on Corbett, though.
You got any close friends around the place?
Oh, he knows everybody there.
You spend more time with anybody special?
No, he usually just comes in and sits around.
You got a job?
Not so it shows.
Where does he live?
He never told me.
Why'd you come in here, Kerry?
Huh?
What are you trying to build with us?
Nothing. I just got real hacked this morning with the way those guys shoved me around. I want to see them get what they got coming.
You don't want nothing for yourself?
Just to see them get paid.
You got any ideas how we can do that?
Yeah.
All right, we're waiting.
Let me nail them for you.
Spell it out.
Look, you can't get within 10 feet of them. The whole bar's hinky. Now, let me go in and get them.
We can't give you anything for it.
I'm not asking for anything. You just let me go along with you guys. Let me go in and blow the whistle on those guys who pull the heist.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, Kerry. You coming in here and wanting to help us. There's got to be something behind it.
And what's it going to cost you to find out? You're going to have a tail on me from the time I walk out of here. It's not going to do you any harm to let me go.
You're laying yourself right in the middle of the tracks, you know.
I know that, but it's worth it to see the expression on their faces when you kick the door in.
All right, we'll have to check it with the skipper.
Well, you go ahead. Guys, play it any way you want. Don't make a pound to me. If you want me on your side, I'm there.
What happens if they find out?
Send roses.
All right, Curie. We'll buy a piece of it. But I'm going to give you something going in.
What's that?
There'll be a lot of men working on this. If one of them gets in trouble over you, you better start running because there isn't going to be a big enough handicap for you.
I'm not asking for one, am I?
If it works out, you'll get a piece of the credit. It'll go in the books that way, and that's all.
Well, it doesn't matter to me at all. All I want to see is for those guys to get theirs.
All right.
Well, this time I thought they were friends of mine, and they turn around and pull a stunt like this. Is pretty lousy.
Mm-hmm.
All I want is a connection. They got the stuff that isn't going to cost them anything.
No, you got it wrong there, fella.
Huh?
It's going to cost them. Frank came back from R&I with the information that the suspect, Olin Corbett, had a long record in Los Angeles, listing arrests for narcotics, suspicion of burglary, suspicion of robbery, and ADW. While Curie waited in the squad room, Lucarelli, Frank, and I talked with Captain Donahoe. We filled him in on what had happened. It was decided to accept Curie's offer of help. The next morning, Thursday, July 12th, we started the operation. An effort was made to find Olin Corbett without result. In order to make sure of the safety of our informant, it was arranged for an officer from Narcotics Division to be planted in the bar. One of the younger officers was chosen for the job, and at 10:05 a.m., he took up his position in the place. At 10:34 a.m., Frank and I, along with Lucarelli and Curie, got there. We parked down the street and let our contact out of the car. He walked down the block and entered the bar. 10 minutes later, he hurried back.
Looks like something's wrong.
Yeah.
You want to open the door, Frank?
Yeah.
What are you guys trying to pull?
What are you talking about?
You ain't much better than they are. A lousy thing all the way around. One thing I figured sure was I'd be able to trust
All right,
you
now
guys.
calm down, Fury, and tell us
What'd
what's
you plant
wrong.
the cop for in there?
What?
Cop in the bar. Why'd you there?
What happened?
Everybody knows who he is. There isn't anything going on. What's the matter? Don't you trust me? Is that it?
We wanted to make sure you'd be able to walk out of the place, that's all.
Well, it didn't work out that way. Guys in there playing for keeps. The whole place is wide for sound.
All right. And we've got to go after him a different way.
Gonna have to do it without me. After today, I don't dare go into the place. They all figure I brought the fuzz in.
You won't have to go back.
Well, thanks a lot. Well, it sure goes to show you.
What's that?
Play footsie with the cops, you're bound to get burned.
We appreciate what you did.
A lot of good that does. The word gets out, I'm in big trouble. As soon as those guys find out I've been going with you, I've had it. Give me one good reason why you had to put the cop in there. What kind of insurance is that?
Yours.
Huh?
We're trying to keep you alive. We went back to the office and talked with Captain Donahoe. We told him what had happened. After conversations with Chief Detectives Thad Brown and Captain Carl Shy, it was decided that the bar on 5th Street was important enough to warrant a 24-hour stakeout. The crime lab was contacted, and we asked their aid in arranging the surveillance. Lieutenant Lee Jones suggested a camera mounted in a delivery truck. We got in touch with one of the larger truck rental services in the city, and we got permission to use their equipment. It was decided that a panel truck parked a short distance from the bar could be used to observe both the front and rear entrances. A small slot was cut in the side of the truck so that a 16-millimeter camera could be used. Frank and I spent an hour with Lieutenant Jones going over the workings of the camera. The following morning, we took up our positions outside the bar. For the next 12 hours, we took pictures of everybody entering and leaving the place. Men from Narcotics Division relieved us during the nighttime hours. For 3 days, the surveillance continued without result. Hundreds of feet of film were exposed and processed. Still, we were no closer to apprehending the suspects. During this time, we hadn't seen Olin Corbett, the man who'd sold the morphine to Curie. Thursday morning, July 17th, Frank and I took up our positions in the truck.
You checked the camera this morning?
No. Luke said we probably have to put in a new film magazine, didn't he?
Yeah, better take care of it. You know how to do this?
Well, you were there when Lee explained it, weren't you?
Yeah, but I kind of forgot.
Well, that's good. Then I better know how, huh?
Yeah. Here's the film.
All right, let me take a look. Nothing to it. You just follow these lines here.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You want to throw that little catch there? No. This one. This one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We go under that thing?
You want to do it?
No, go ahead, Joe. I think you're supposed to turn that little gizmo there, that one, to make sure you're threaded up all right.
No, you're wrong.
The little knob right over there.
You were wrong.
All right, you going to turn it?
I'm going to turn it as soon as I get this threaded up. If you turn it now, you tear the film.
Yeah, but you're supposed to turn it.
We turn it after we thread it up.
Oh. All right. Well, I remember that you turned it.
You know you're a big help to me, Frank.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be another hot one.
It's hot in this truck, too.
Yeah. Had Faye pack a different lunch today.
Mm-hmm.
Chopped egg sandwiches and potato salad.
Mm-hmm.
Want one?
A little early, don't you think?
Oh, might be. Figured you might be a little hungry, though.
No, not right now. Frank?
Yeah.
Want to switch on the camera?
Huh? Got something?
Come here, take a look. No, up this way. See him come up the street?
No, where?
Right there, see?
Huh?
Just passing the bakery there.
Oh, yeah.
That looks like Corbett to me.
Yeah.
All right. He's going into the bar.
Yeah, first time we've seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Alone.
You better call Luke. Have him put a tail on the guy when he leaves.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Corbett's coming out the side door.
Yeah, he's going back to that Cadillac.
You see that car pull in the alley?
No, it must have been while we were loading the cameras.
Oh.
Hey, wait a minute. There's a woman behind the wheel.
Oh, she's getting out. You getting everything there?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, you're not now. Why'd you stop?
Well, I just took my thumb off for a minute. I'll start again.
Looks like she's giving Corbett something.
Yeah, small package.
We better have him picked up and see what it is.
As soon as he leaves, I'll get in touch with Luke.
Okay, cut the camera. That's enough. You better get on it. He's shoving off. Car's leaving, too.
You want to get the license number?
Yeah. It's 2 Victor 22876. Might be a break.
Yeah.
At least we know one thing.
Huh?
We got a contact.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
We got in touch with the narcotics office and made arrangements for Corbett to be taken into custody. The arrest itself was made in such a way as to appear routine. A check of DMV gave us the name of the owner of the black Cadillac that we'd seen behind the bar. The car was registered to a Mrs. Beulah Pringle, 5742 Los Feliz Boulevard, legal the same. We ran the name through R&I, but we found no criminal record for her. The pictures we'd taken were processed and shown to the witnesses of the warehouse robbery. 2 of them positively identified Corbett as the lookout man on the job. Frank and I, along with Roxy Lucarelli, talked to him at the main jail, but he refused to give us any information regarding the holdup. He was booked on charges of robbery. For the next week, a constant surveillance was kept on the Pringle woman. All of the people she came into contact with were checked on. We made several attempts to search her home, but there was always somebody there. On Tuesday, July 24th, a week after we'd first observed her, she was seen at the bar again. This time, she passed a small package to one of the regulars of the place. He was taken into custody and found to have had a large quantity of pure morphine in his possession, but he refused to say where he'd gotten it. Without finding the cache of narcotics, there was little reason to take the woman into custody. On Wednesday, July 25th, we got word that she left her home. Frank and I drove out there and succeeded in making a complete search of the place, but we found nothing. A check of her car turned up none of the stolen narcotics. The surveillance continued. Another week passed. Wednesday, August 1st, she again made a meet and turned over a package of narcotics which we believed to have been taken in the robbery. After talking to the man we'd picked up, Frank and I met in the squad room.
He isn't going to give us anything.
No. Well, we'll talk to the DA's office in the morning, see what we can do.
There's got to be something about the Pringle woman that'll tell us where the narcotics are.
Well, you've been over all the information. Have you spotted anything?
No, but she's got to pick it up someplace.
Where?
I don't know. You got the list of places she goes to?
Yeah, in my locker. You want to get them? I'll check the book.
Yeah. Where are they, Joe?
Top shelf there. Should be on the left side.
Huh?
Top shelf on the left side, right in front of you there.
Oh, yeah, here I go. Anything on the book for us?
No.
Okay, let's go over these again.
All right. Here's a report from Roxy. This woman's got regular appointments at the beauty shop. She has her hair fixed on Thursdays.
It's her car service at the corner of Salmon Harbor.
Name of the market where she gets her groceries, her bank, the kid who delivers the morning paper. They've all been checked out.
What about a boyfriend?
Checked him way back. There's nothing there.
You know anything about her kids?
2 boys by a former marriage.
Uh-huh.
One's 10, the other's 12. They stay at the school in the valley. Address is on the report there.
Oh, yeah, here. Sees the kid about every week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can say she's an attentive mother.
Well, maybe she's got another reason.
What do you mean?
A couple of days after she sees the kid, she makes a drop.
Yeah.
The way it looks, doesn't it, here?
Yeah.
Maybe she's got something besides kids over at that school. Frank and I made arrangements to search the room occupied by the Pringle youngsters. We drove out to the valley and talked with the head of the school. Without telling him what we were looking for, Frank and I got into the room and began to go over it. Anything in the closet?
Now, wait a minute. A couple of suitcases here. Looks like they're full of clothes.
Nothing in these drawers.
Hold it a minute, Joe.
Hmm?
The suitcase here looks like a makeup kit.
What's in it?
Oh, I can't tell. It's locked.
Let's see it.
What? Take a look.
Uh-huh.
You got anything I can use to open the case?
I'll try this.
Okay. Well, that does it.
Yeah.
Huh, take a look.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take it back to town?
You better and have the serial numbers checked.
Not much doubt, huh?
No, just about wraps it up, doesn't it? Let's bring the Pringle woman in and talk to her, see what she can come up with on this.
The way Roxy puts it, she's a pretty good talker.
She's going to have to be, isn't she? Frank and I left the school and drove back to the Los Feliz address. The black Cadillac was parked in the driveway. We told the maid who answered the door who we were and what we wanted. She showed us into the library of the house and asked us to wait while she went to get Mrs. Pringle.
It's quite a pad, huh, Joe?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Clay's been after me to get one of these.
What's that?
See? One of these 3-dimensional viewers. You know, got little pictures in them. Clay says they're great for the kids.
Yeah.
Got all kind of pictures. Yosemite, Yellowstone. Pretty interesting. All in 3D, too.
Gentlemen, something you want to see me about?
We're police officers, Miss Pringle. Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Yes, I know. What was it you wanted to see me about?
You know a man named Olin Corbett?
Corbett? No, I don't think so.
How about Peter Ulrich?
Nothing there either. You mind telling me what this is all about?
Why, that you know as well as we do, don't you?
This is some kind of a joke. I'm afraid I can't go along with it.
No, ma'am, it's no joke.
You're trying to say something. Why not stop going in circles and come right to the point?
All right. You're under arrest, Miss Pringle.
For what?
Robbery and narcotics.
Would you like to sit down?
No, thank you.
No.
Anything I can get for you? Drink, maybe?
No.
You must have some kind of evidence to make a charge like this.
We have.
You mind telling me what it is?
We've got motion pictures of you meeting the men that I mentioned. pictures of you passing the narcotics to them. We checked your children's school. We found that makeup kit.
Not much doubt, then, is there?
No, ma'am.
Nothing I can do?
No. Get your coat.
I guess so.
Miss Pringle.
What?
This house and the car. You mind telling me why you went into a thing like this?
I guess it'd sound pretty silly to you. Right now, it's pretty well to me.
We'll listen if you want to tell us.
I divorced my husband several years ago, Mr. Smith. I got a good settlement, a lot of alimony. Gave me just about everything I wanted. Maybe it gave me too much. I didn't have anything to look forward to, nothing to act as a sort of challenge. You understand?
I guess so.
I met a man, nice enough guy. One thing led to another, and he suggested the robbery. Sounded like something to do, something so I wouldn't be bored anymore. That's why we did it. It wasn't the money with me. I guess it was with him.
You want to give us the name?
Yeah. Might as well. It's all finished now anyway.
All right. You want to get that coat now?
Yeah. How long will they send me to prison for?
Well, we wouldn't know. That's up to the judge.
I hear the place is a lot better than they used to be. Lots of things to do. Jobs so you can keep your mind occupied.
That's right. And you can be sure of one thing.
What's that?
You won't be bored.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 18th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Norman Gerald Keary was tried and convicted of violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony, 1 count. Olin Lambert Corbett, Beulah Valerie Pringle, and Peter Larson Ulrich were tried and found guilty of robbery in the first degree and violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony, is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 5 years to life in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
The American Broadcasting Company presents Pat Novak for Hire.
Sure, I'm Pat Novak. For hire. That's what the sign out in front of my office says, Pat Novak for hire. It's about the only way to make a living down on the waterfront in San Francisco. Because if you ever tried to practice the 10 Commandments down here, they'd steal 9 of them and frame you with the other. So I rent boats and do whatever else comes in handy to make a buck change pockets. Sometimes the hustle pays off. Sometimes you get lunch instead. Last week it was neither of these. I hung around my place at Pier 19 day after day and nothing turned up at all. Just when I began to wonder if people had forgotten how to phone, a babe gives me a jingle. She sounds nervous and talks about trouble. Asked me to come up and hold her hand. I ended up at a joint on the marina slant of Webster Street. It was probably important stuff once in the way of gold-plated living. Now it's just a tired wooden boarding house with about 30 people filling up space designed for a dozen. The paint was peeling off the walls. The garden had been on its own so long it was beginning to look like a jungle.
When I rang the doorbell, I'd have given even odds a zombie would open it. I was nearly right at that. It was Hellman, a detective from City Homicide with a disposition made up of equal parts of hating people and confusion. Right then, though, he wasn't himself. His fat face was wrapped in smiles. He looked like a cat who'd learned to open the icebox.
Sorry, Novak, we don't want any fish today.
You're being glad. Somebody must have broken their neck.
You're wrong. Again, and as usual.
Somebody had some sort of bad luck.
As bad as you can get.
Dead, huh?
You're too late this time, Novak. The killer's already in the bag.
And you got the drawstring.
I'm not complaining. Now scamper off somewhere and find another sucker.
Put the brush away, Hellman. If you got the killer, it's even money. It turns out to be 4 other people.
I don't know. The department managed before you dragged into town. We stumbled, but we got by.
You can say that about a wine bum.
Hey, you make it fit you. Stumble on out of here, Novak.
Yeah. But first, who done it?
The landlady. She evicted a guy named Burke, the hardware. He didn't live here. He rented a room for some kind of an office. He was a freelance bookkeeper. She said he made too much noise working his machines at night.
Did she confess?
It's open and shut, Novak. No room for your chisel.
Well, if she confessed, maybe you can pin it on her.
What do you mean, pin it on her?
The way you work, you couldn't prove Warren's governor.
That's not my department, but keep on being smart and see if I can prove you'll fit in one of our cells down in Kearney Street.
Don't strain your head, Hellman. I don't want any part of anything you're near, including this place.
I'll buy that, too, and I'll breeze out of here.
When the press shows up, don't worry about giving them your best profile. Either way, you'll look like a sack of potatoes.
Either way, you look like a sack of potatoes. Gee, that's good, Novak.
Before you tell Hellman that, you better go somewhere and grow a little.
Look, Novak, how'd you like a tip on a horse? I got a hot one in the 5th at Del Mar tomorrow.
I got a tip for you. Get out of my hair before I have to comb you out.
Gee, Novak, that's no way to talk. I could be your friend.
The guy was small, even for a midget. Since the rooming house was so full of interesting people, I decided I didn't want to go away after all. So I went back up the steps. Was just going to try my luck when the door opens from inside. The guy with the welcome is either middle-aged or he's done a lot of careful living. His face is as smooth and as neat as a barrel full of apples. You notice it because he acts like he forgot his face when he went into his act. The rest of him is as mysterious as an addict in a B horror picture. I didn't need any puzzles right then, so I started to brush him off. Especially when I noticed his suit. It was so ragged it looked like he was made up to put the bum on the town. But then I decided to play it for the laughs.
How would you like to make some heavy money in a hurry?
I quit buying oil wells.
I'm not fooling, would you?
Who are you?
Name's Jack Lansom. I'm Burke's assistant, or used to be.
Yeah, he looks like quick, easy money. For an undertaker.
For you, too.
Sure. Why not? And how?
Burke has some papers in his home safe that I don't want pawed over by any flatfoot snooper. They're my papers. Burke just kept them there for me. I want you to get them.
I don't see any splints on your legs.
I can walk, but I can't leave. Hellman's going to question all the tenants.
So what do I do?
Go to this address. It's on Nob Hill. Here are the keys. It's wall safe, not a combination. Just 2 locks you have to open at the same time. The papers are in a sealed envelope marked Lansom Private. Get it and bring it here.
I don't know. When a guy dies, the feds move in. They'll want to list his stuff for taxes.
These aren't financial papers. They're just some private letters and things.
I don't like flirting with the FBI.
How would you like to flirt with $1,000?
If the stuff's worth that much, it must be hot.
I need those papers. Do you get them for me, or do I phone somebody else?
I could change my mind.
Here's $100. There's 900 more when the stuff's in my hands.
You had me fooled there. You don't dress to fit this kind of dough.
So I save my money. Are you going or not?
Give me the keys.
Lots of luck, Novak.
Hey, Novak, wait a minute. About that horse.
Go get a glass of water and drown yourself. It looked like a cinch. I flagged a cab up to the place on Nob Hill. It turned out to be one of those society page joints, all glass, brick, and snobbish doormen. Getting up to Burke's floor was as easy as walking up 6 flights of back stairs. The hall was empty, and the key fitted. It was all so easy, I began to get nervous. And you would, too, if you walked in on her that way. She was a toy-sized brunette with a perfect kind of face that could mean anything from nice people to quick death. She was smooth and beautiful. As you could say that about a whirlpool. If my breaking in bothered her, you'd never guess it from looking.
Oh, hello. Toss your hat on a chair.
I've been working the wrong districts.
I'm glad you're here.
Why, for instance?
Girl gets lonely in a place like this. Berkey's out, and I don't know when he'll get back.
You forgot something there.
Folks call me Blanche. What's your name, friend?
Pat Novak. Did you go with the lease?
I'm, in and out. Berkey doesn't like me to tell it, though, but everybody knows it, so, what kind of secret's that?
Didn't I surprise you when I walked in like that?
Berkey has a lot of friends. They come and go. I'm used to it.
For a bookkeeper, Berkey does all right.
He's, good at figures, don't you think?
If he had my account, I'd be nervous.
Don't you know? He just came into a lot of money.
I'll bet that's a comfort to his client.
Oh, to me, too. Have a cigarette. There's some in the box there on the coffee table.
These are cigars.
Oh? Oh, yeah, well, I have some in my purse.
Never mind. I'll settle for a drink.
Okay. What'll it be?
What do you got?
That's kind of hard to say offhand. Let's look in the kitchen and see. It ought to be up here.
But it isn't. I knew a girl that way once.
Berkey must have moved the bottles. Look around. Try those cabinets. Oh, I'll get there.
Hey, wait a minute. Take it easy.
What's the matter? Jumpy?
Good evening, Miss. Is Mr. Novak in?
Yeah, I'm in. You and your horse are both out.
But Mr. Novak, it's a good horse.
You always come and cry?
That's Pinky. He's been on my tail all night. Aren't you curious about why I'm here?
You must be a friend of Burke's.
Would it matter?
What do you mean?
When you get tired of playing with those doors, let's admit you don't know where Burke keeps his goods. You don't know where he keeps his cigarettes. You don't know anything about the place because this is the first time you've been here.
You're acting like a detective.
Put it down, I'm just curious. And you can still fill in my question.
Why not say I, wandered into the wrong apartment?
You don't seem anxious to get out.
Maybe I like the company here. Come on in the living room. He probably has the liquor in there.
That isn't what you were after.
Why don't we settle for my being lonely?
The town's full of lonely babes. None of them look like you.
I know a cure. Do you?
Let me guess.
Well, I guess when you can be sure. Like this.
Now I know. Fill me in on the rest of your visit.
I'm busy. Or, I could be.
All right, let's close the post office. Did you get the papers?
I could sulk. Men don't usually treat me that way.
They'd live longer if they did. Look, baby, I'm not swinging any bats until I know who's pitching. Do you give with where you fit in, or do I have to bend it out of you?
You know, I think I get like you. A dame gets tired of men she can twist around her fingers.
Yeah, sure. I'm fascinating. Give.
Don't flex your muscles. I'll tell you. Denver Red sent me.
You're sure it wasn't Pittsburgh Pete or Chicago Clark?
He's real. If you aren't too particular about what you call a man. He owns a nightclub called the Knife and Fork out on Geary Street.
Then what?
He sent me to get some papers Burke has hidden around the place. A small envelope.
Did you find it?
Sure. Here it is. You want it?
You give up easy.
I don't have to do this sort of thing to get along. I told Red that.
What else are you going to tell him?
I'll tell him you took the papers away from me. Unless you got a better idea.
Put down your flaps, sister.
What if I didn't go back to him? What if I went with you?
I don't like your recommendations.
Don't worry. I won't pretend I wouldn't drop you as soon as I found a better man. What do you want? Eternity?
I haven't got time for that.
All right, sucker. So, I'll go back to Red. He tears telephone books in half and things like that, so, watch him.
I'll try to manage.
Oh, here's the booze. Let's drink to something or other.
Why not?
You sure you won't change your mind? About anything?
Why don't you leave me your phone number?
I got a better idea. Sucker.
She timed it, but nice. I hardly started to get my hand up before she hit me with a bottle. The room began to spin, and I tried to stand up, but my knees gave way. I could hear her footsteps a long distance away, running. Then the door closed. I shook my head, and some of the cobwebs went away, but not enough for me to get started. By the time they did, I knew it was too late. I looked around, and the package of papers was gone. Yeah, the more I thought of how easily I'd been done in by that dame, the madder I got. Then I remembered no one was supposed to know about the papers except Lansom. Decided I better check on the play. I got on the phone and talked my way through a flock of bars until I ran down an alcoholic friend of mine named Jocko Madigan. He's an old-timer around San Francisco who knows more about the town than the city planning commission. He sounded good over the phone, which must have meant they were watering his drinks.
Patsy, my boy, how are you?
Curious. I'm sitting in on a racket that's beginning to develop too many curves.
You sound like you're in a Girl Scout camp. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, you nasty, immoral,
Put down
antisocial.
the horn for a minute. I want you to do me a favor.
If I had a daughter and you were even in the neighborhood, I'd lock her in the cellar. I can't imagine what those Boy Scout leaders are thinking about.
They were Girl Scouts a minute ago.
What did they do, pull a switch? Anyway, Boy Scouts don't camp, they hike.
Look, I just got sapped by a dame who stole some papers.
Up Mount Tamalpais, they hike. That's
Her name's Blanche. She's tied in with a guy named Denver Wren. He runs the Knife and Fork Club out on Geary.
Oh, those poor kids. And that mountain's almost straight up, too.
She
man.
just left here. She ought to be heading for Denver Red's place.
What are the papers? I know you don't own them. You can't read.
They have some stuff in them that'll put the heat on a guy named Jack Lansom. He likes it cool. $1,000 worth.
Oh, speaking of money, there's a friend of yours here.
Hello, Patsy. This is Pinky. Imagine me talking to you on the telephone.
Imagine I've gone deaf. Hey, Jocko, if you can hear this, pull that punk off the line.
Okay, he's gone. He said he had a horse for you.
Look, dummy up to that guy. He's been floating around all night.
And I'd be floating, too, if you'd be nice to him.
I'll grab a cab and go out to the Knife and Fork Club. When Blanche shows up, see if you can find out what she does with the papers.
Are you buying the drinks and the cab fare?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'm going back and see Lansom. This was supposed to be a closed deal, and will you hurry? The dame will be there and gone.
Don't worry about me. You couldn't keep me away from the place. I'm growing wings.
Yeah? Why the sudden lather?
Well, if you're buying the drinks, there's no use my scrimping. I'm suddenly developing an awful longing for some good, well-aged scotch. So long, lover.
I ducked out of the place and started along the street looking for a cab. It was growing foggy, and I couldn't see very well. In fact, I could see so little I didn't notice the car drive up. I could hear the driver all right.
All right, Bub, inside the car.
Hey, you must not like arguments.
Don't think it won't shoot either. Get in. You're Patsy Novak, ain't you?
You can say Patsy twice.
Don't sulk. I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah, thanks for the ride.
I'm Reynolds. Gone Reynolds. Ever hear of me?
Yeah. You sell pipe dreams.
If you know that much, you know that shoveling the snow ain't no job for a preacher.
So you're tough. Then what?
And you give me Burke's little envelope.
What is this, a mass meeting?
You pass it over, or do we have to go out in the country and get it twisted out of you?
You're wrong twice. I haven't got it.
You must think I'm foolish.
Someone beat me to it.
Who, Murphy?
Murphy.
Yeah, the bookie. Did he get it?
A dame. She said she was working for Denver Red.
Out at the Knife and Fork? Well, that sounds all right.
Hey, what's up?
You don't know?
I was hired to pick it up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I believe that.
Take it or leave it, but let me out of here.
Don't get nervous. Wait till we hit a quiet street.
I'm broad-minded. Let me off anywhere.
I said a quiet street. Before you go, I'm going to search you. How do I know you ain't lying?
I'm beginning to wonder myself. Reynolds was a nice guy for an opium peddler. No bumps, no scars. He even dropped me near a car line. Pretty soon I began to breathe regularly again and headed back to the place on Webster Street. The house was dark except for a light in one of the upstairs windows. Just as I was leaning on the bell, I hear someone coming up the steps behind me.
I wish you'd stay put, Mr. Novak. Now, about that horse. He's a beautiful animal. Affectionate.
Look, I'm tired of this shadow act. What's your pitch?
Straight over the plate, Novak. I'm doing you a favor. Someday I may need one from you. I'm far-sighted.
Well, I'm nearsighted. Come here.
Come
Light up and be somebody. What's your racket?
Put me down, Novak. I got connections. You can't scare me.
I can try.
Going in for kidnapping midgets, Novak? Put him down and come on in. I don't want to draw a crowd.
Make this the last time I see you, Pinky, or I'll fix it so you wish you had.
What was that?
I don't know. I'm beginning to get curious.
Forget it. You got the envelope?
No.
Don't sound so cheerful. Why not?
Somebody changed my mind. Too much competition.
Keep it understandable. What do you mean?
Every tough monkey in town is after those papers, and Denver Red has the inside track.
Who else? Tell me about the others.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't know about them.
I know how you feel. I didn't know a lot of things either, but I'm beginning to learn. Start talking.
Burke used to keep books for a lot of guys around town. That's where he really got his money, covering up the racket profits from the revenue boys.
Don't stop there.
That's all I know.
That's not enough.
All right. I don't know, but I can guess. Burke must have photostats of some of the records and use them to blackmail the gangsters.
So it's a free-for-all with me in the middle.
I didn't know about it. Honest, I didn't.
You didn't know, but I get slapped, sapped, and held up. Good for me.
You say Denver Red got the papers?
And he can have them. I'm bowing out.
Your $100 is nothing, don't you see? Get the papers and we'll both be rich. Richer than anyone in town.
No dice. You want them, you get them.
I'll give you $5,000.
How much down?
Here's the rest of the $1,000 I promised you. Is that fair?
Fair enough.
We're going to be rich, you hear? Rich.
Yeah. The richest men in the cemetery. Lansom must have thought I was the biggest sucker in the city. I was through with the papers as soon as I discovered how hot they were. I could have told him, but when I saw how anxious he was, I figured I might as well use his shakes to get the rest of the $1,000. I headed out to the Knife and Fork, but my only plan was to get Jocko off the hook. After that, I wanted a lot of time in the country until things cooled off. The joint was out near Golden Gate Park, one of those community center places where you get everything that'll go in a stomach, including bicarbonate. The brunette doll was nowhere in sight, but I saw Jocko over at the bar wrestling with a double-sized highball, eased over beside him.
Well, if it isn't the Boy Scout, Patsy Novak.
That stuff's beginning to eat into your head, Jocko.
Don't you worry. My lobes are functioning smooth as ice in a glass. What can I do for you after you pay the bill?
Did the Dame Blanche show up here?
Yeah, about a half hour ago. What kept you? She's pretty.
So's a tiger. Where is she?
She and your friend Denver Red went upstairs. He has an apartment up there. Now, that's the way to live. If he bored a hole in the floor and ran a pipe down to the bar...
Did you see the papers?
No, and do you know a guy named Reynolds, Gong Reynolds?
We've met.
He was in here. He looked around and ducked out.
Did he go upstairs?
I don't know. You're running in big company. Reynolds and Denver Red are two of the most powerful gangsters in town. If they've got anything to do with this, you better cash in your chips and get out of the game.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm all washed up with this.
I heard something else, too. This guy Lanson is no country boy either.
Measure him for me.
The grapevine has it he used to be a member of Murder Incorporated, the Brooklyn outfit. He got out before they grew into big-time operators.
Three of a kind. What do you know about Murphy?
Don't tell me Murphy's in on this. Murphy's got the horse wires sewed up. He sewed it up with bullets. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I will in a minute. How do you get to Denver Red's shack?
The entrance is outside, but what do you care? Let's get out of here.
In a minute.
Patsy, they're hotter than summer in Panama. Leave them alone.
I'd kind of like to see that envelope.
Try the post office. It's full of envelopes.
Yeah, not this one. You coming with me?
No, Patsy. If you've lost your mind, you've lost it alone.
I'm beginning to wonder about that.
Well, so long, lover.
I worked out of the place without causing any fuss. Eased into the apartment entrance. The place was quiet. It was so quiet you could hear me breathing as I worked my way up the stairs. There was a carpet in the halls, but even then I was careful. I listened at the door, and there wasn't a sound inside. After a while, I tried the knob. The door opened. With the fog outside, you could barely make out anything in the place. Something told me to back out and forget it. There was something I wanted to know. I held my breath and listened. All I could hear was the jukebox faintly from the cafe below. Then I felt for the light switch.
Don't move. You're covered.
What are you waiting for, Hellman? A payoff?
You, baby. Keep your hands up. Where's the gun?
I ate it.
I guess it wasn't much good at that. You didn't have any bullets left.
You counted them?
I counted the bullets in the body. 6 bullets, 1 load.
Who got it? Or do I have to guess?
Denver Red and his dame. Name's Blanche. Know her?
Yeah, I know her. She used to roll stroke ore in my lifeboat.
She looks the type. You want to tell me about it, or do we go downtown first?
I didn't kill him, Hellman.
Who made those holes in them? Termites?
If they did, you better keep your hat on. They might get hungry again.
You got all the brains, Novak. You better shake them up. You're going to need them.
You ought to get a refund on that crystal ball, Hellman.
That's not a bad idea. Or maybe I can swap it for a television set. I'd like to see you on those San Quentin broadcasts.
You saw me come in, you fathead. You can't pin this one on me.
It's pinned, Novak, but good. In fact, it's a hatpin.
Try making sense.
Try making this knot fit your head.
This is my hat.
Now all you got to do is get rid of the 5 people who saw you wearing it earlier this evening at the boarding house, and you're clear.
We were halfway down to the Hall of Justice before I could talk Hellman into giving me another chance. Murphy was really the one who cinched it. I picked him up by phone at one of his bookie joints with Hellman listening in on an extension. Yeah, it was short and sweet.
Novak? Yeah, I've heard the name. What's it you knew?
This may not be my business, but I got a good reason for wanting to know.
Spread it out, Novak. I got work to do.
Did you get a phone call tonight about an envelope with some photostatic copies of a bunch of records?
What's it to you, Novak?
You did then.
Yeah, some nut, I guess. Didn't give his name. Town's full of them these days.
He wouldn't be a nut if Burke had something on you.
Hey, what is this? Burke's got nothing on me. I pay my taxes. What is this, Novak? Some new form of shakedown?
Yeah, Murphy. But you're not up the tree. Thanks a lot.
Hey, it could fit.
Do I get a chance to prove it?
I can't let you go, Novak. But what if I should bend over for a minute to pick up this pencil and the door open and all?
Try it and see, Hellman. Just once. After that, I began to figure my bad luck had run out for the day. I jumped a cab and went down to the waterfront, but not to my pier. There was a guy at Pier 23 who was a friend of mine. He had a gun and a rowboat, and I borrowed both of them. I pushed off without being too careful, because between the wind and the cross-chop, nobody was going to be hearing anything. Even with everything on my side, it was a long, hard row. When I hit the bottom of the ladder at the end of Pier 19, I had to sit in the boat to let my heart slow down. It was blacker than the inside of Hellman's dress shoes. I took my time edging down the pier. I was just about to slide into my boathouse when I tripped the booby trap. I did a Brody, and somewhere along the line I lost my gun, which put me even up with Lawson. He turned on the lights.
Novak, you have to sneak up in your own office? You ought to pay the rent regular.
I see the gags. You fix up this welcome?
I was all alone and didn't like the idea of being caught from behind.
What would you do about a frontal attack?
I've got this gun. But since it's only you, I don't have to worry.
I wouldn't say that. I think you've got all kinds of worries.
Everybody's got something.
And you've got Reynolds.
Where is he?
Take it easy. I just saw him earlier tonight, and he mentioned your name.
Let's keep that for the society column. I'll take the envelope.
I didn't get it for the simple reason that there isn't any envelope.
That fall on the head make it soft? You told me you saw it.
Nothing important. Just some regular business letters. Nothing that'd stand up in court.
I still don't understand this. You don't make sense.
And I don't make dough either. I don't have the envelope. Or do you want to search me?
I'm not getting that close to you. You're going off on some tangent that I don't understand. So we'll just sit and wait till you get ready.
Or until Reynolds gets here.
That's supposed to scare me?
Look at it this way. You don't mind if I talk?
I can listen. No, you sit there, with your back to the door. That's right. Now, I'll just warm the place up by closing the door. Now, you were saying?
Suppose that the envelope was a phony. After I am on my way, you call up all the big-time hoods in town and tip them off.
Now, tell me why.
The boys start pouring out of the woodwork to give me the business. And the ones who chase me are the boys on Burke's list. Then you could pick up where he left off. I'm not boring you, am I?
Not at all. Go on.
Everything was as cozy as an upper berth until Denver Red gets his girl into Burke's place before I make it.
You're everything but consistent. Now you'll be trying to tag me with the stiffs down at the Knife and Fork.
Thanks for the cue. You knew that if Denver Red spotted the envelope for a phony, the news would be all over town and your racket would be kaput, so you killed him.
Nice figuring. You should have been a bookkeeper, too.
You even told me to come down here so you could kill me if that planted hat didn't frame for the cops.
I hate to disappoint you. So, since you know everything else, you might as well know the caliber of this gun. See?
I've looked into things like that before.
Everything has to end sometimes, so... Don't touch that phone.
I ordered that call, just in case.
I said don't touch it.
You'll be hearing worse bells than that if you don't let me answer it.
Okay, but watch your language.
Novak speaking.
For a minute I thought you was out. You're the hardest man to get hold of. But I guess it's because you're a busy guy.
Well, say something.
That's right, Reynolds.
Huh? Mr. Novak, remember? Pinky Punk. What a name.
That's up to you, Reynolds.
What's he saying?
You want to talk to him?
You still there, Mr. Novak? And Mr. Novak...
Give me that phone. Now, look, Reynolds, I'm not taking any talk off you. You pay up or else...
You dropped something, Mr. Novak?
Yeah. How about that horse?
You want to get onto him?
I think I can toss a sawbuck into his feed bag.
Oh, gee, Mr. Novak, you'll never regret it.
Okay, Pinky. Who's the goat? Pinky, I said, what's his name?
Gee, Mr. Novak. What do you know? I forgot.
Pinky might have forgotten, but Lansom's memory was good. I handcuffed him to the chair and told him Reynolds would be down in a half an hour. Then gave him Hellman's phone number. He confessed to everything after sitting alone in my office for a while. I know how he felt. When the feds got the news, they moved in with a fine tooth comb, but they never did turn up anything. Nobody ever did. I'm pretty sure of that. But now and then I get the idea maybe I'm wrong. So I start nosing around for those papers. I never find the things. I usually find Reynolds instead. He's beginning to get gray. Who killed the bookkeeper? That was the landlady. Yeah. Hellman got her a room, too.
Heard on tonight's presentation were Ben Morris as Novak, John Galbraith as Inspector Hellman, Jack Lewis as Jocko, and Mary Milford as Blanche, with Herb Ellis, Jerry Zinneman, Kurt Martell, and Dick Ellers. Special music by Otto Clare. Listen again next week at this same time when over most of these stations, the American Broadcasting Company presents Pat Novak for Hire. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.